And we're live. What is up? Oh my gosh, it's the live stream lounge. It's only been, what, like 2 months or something like that? Oh my gosh, it feels good to be back. And there is so much stuff to talk about. But first, you guys need to say hello. Hi, I'm Matt, and you need to say hello to my buddy, James. James, what is shaking?
Not a whole lot, I guess.
Dude, you got to show us this awesome shirt. It's like shiny, and I don't even know. Is that a muskrat? What is that thing?
This is Neofork's holographic Espeon. It's in one of the Pokemon right there.
Nice.
And I was like, you know what? It's got like a pink hollow kind of print. And so I'm usually not into wearing the pink, but
dude, that is really cool.
I needed the sixth one to match the rest.
Dude, where was that when we did Masked Nightclub?
Not even conceived yet.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. And do you have some new bling on the hat? I'm looking here. I see some. You got the.
I have a little dangly as usual. We got the Hellhound there.
Yeah.
But then you've got. What am I looking at here?
That's the purple girl.
Oh, okay. That's Raven from Teen Titans.
Okay, I see what that says. What is that though?
Oh, that's a flowery word to say fuck.
Okay.
And then here is a White Rabbit chewy candy.
Oh yeah, all right.
I love White Rabbit.
Okay.
And then
slushies.
Oh yeah. It's like
my gosh,
machine.
That's hilarious. And then we've seen that. We've seen the Polaroid.
Oh, yeah.
Toaster's on fire.
Oh yeah, that's
dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Oh my gosh, amazing. So we've got some new things. It's been a while. I have a new laptop here that I am working from. I haven't completely updated the Stream Deck and it's not working. So I got some bugs to work out. But however, there's some new. I got some new stuff. Like you see my blue robot over here, and look at this. There's a candle. Look at that. It's like Lord of the Rings. My dad gave that to me. I think he had that when he was younger. But look at the eyes light up with the candle in there. Isn't that funky fresh?
Did you like just make Mandarin Spawn blue?
That one I did. Yes, that was in the Kong Chayam. I think that was in Kong Chayam somewhere. I had an extra one, and I thought it would be cool to paint one blue. All right, so one of the things I wanted to start doing different on the live stream is do this here. Upstairs, I used to have my classic collection of all of the glasses from when I was a kid, from Burger King and all the places. I didn't have all these. A lot of these I've collected on eBay. But this is my pride and joy. It was in the kitchen for the longest time, but I didn't really use it as much in the kitchen as I wanted to. Battlestar Galactica, the Star Wars movies, E.T., Indiana Jones. So now, check this out. Down here, we have, I guess I can close this here. Would you look at this? And I might need to maybe, if I can close this and do this, maybe you can see. And there they are. So I thought it would be cool to show.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, are you plugged in? Or you don't need to be plugged in, huh?
No. I just make sure we're plugged in so we don't die midstream.
Oh, gotcha. Well, you know, the other thing we'll want to check is if the lag, because that was why I was plugged in before, but maybe there isn't as much of a lag now. It looks like there's a little bit of a lag. Anyway, so James, what is your poison? Classic Star Wars, Indiana Jones, E.T., Empire Strikes Back. What are you feeling tonight? What's your
Billy D. Williams in there?
Yeah. There you go. I'm going to go with a classic Empire Strikes Back myself. I'm going to do Vader, Boba Fett. Oh, man, I cannot wait to talk villains tonight when we get into the Acolyte. Okay, so The usual, start with some ice. How is everyone doing? We're going to get to some comments real soon after I get some drinks cooking here first. How's everyone doing? We're going to be talking about ACOLYTE. We are going to do a deep dive under the hood with ALADDIN 3477, everything that's going on with the film right now. Gosh, in 48 hours, I am going to be, where am I going to be 48 hours from now? I'm going to be flying over Europe on my way to Germany for Kunst der Stern, Star Wars art show, and I am so excited because it's my 30th anniversary of Star Wars. They are going to have 101 of my drawings and paintings framed on display. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. It is going to be so cool. Plus, I'm going to have a You Can Draw Star Wars workshop. There's going to be like a public signing. There's a VIP opening night thingy and like all the things. It's going to be amazing. I get to see a bunch of friends from Germany and stuff. It's going to be cool. Then we're going to Switzerland, but we'll talk about all the things coming soon. Okay, drinks. So first things last, we start with a little bit of coffee, courtesy of Costco. And then, James, I got something with you in mind.
You flatter me. Go on.
This is a double espresso shot. Grind.
What?
I mean, from bean to bar. You going for it?
Yeah.
All right. Little extra energy.
Oh, it's all of it in there. Oh, gee. Okay. All right.
I mean,
every time we go to Macomb, I'm there with a 5-hour energy shot.
That's right. And then we are going to do a little bit of this, a little bit of this. So good old Ryan's Irish cream. Makes it fun. These are candy bar drinks. It's basically the same thing as some people call it a Milky Way. Some people call it a Snickers. Some people call it a slippery nipple. It's all the things. It's a candy bar drink. I like to put in a little bit of Chi-Chi's Mexican mudslide for a little bit of zip. Then James, we get some sugar-free flavor. And on the docket this evening, we have salted caramel mocha, glazed donut, peanut butter cup, butter toffee, and that's it.
Let's see what we have with that peanut butter cup.
You got it. Peanut butter cup. This truly will be a Snickers now. I'm going to go with the classic salted caramel. And we're going to give it a little mix. Do it up just right. This is going to taste delicious. Sunday night, celebrating, oh my gosh, weeks and weeks of hard work. It has been sun up to sundown. That's the reason I haven't done the live streams. It's just been just getting everything together on time, on schedule, but lots of fun stuff to chat about tonight. So there's one more thing I wanted to resurrect. I've always had these little pugs. I love pugs. And they kind of hang on your drink.
Little drink markers.
Yeah. All Aren't these just the cutest? And then what you do, like here, I'll take this one here. Little pug. Whoops. That's how it goes, right? Or does it go
really
this way?
what these were for?
Yeah. Oh, here we go. It goes this way. This one goes that way. You doing black? It goes the other way. There you go. All right. Pugs, not drugs, is what they say. Let's see. Oh, I can turn this off here. So I'm just getting used to this new laptop, so bear with me. All right. Cheers. Oh, that's good. And the pug just makes it. That's it. That's it. All right. We got a great show. We're going to do this, and then we're going to get to your comments. What is up? Yeah. All right. All right. So we are. Oh, look at this. We got some comments. What is up? Princess Nachos. Hi, Matt and James. Hello. Mama Rick. Hi, James. Cool shirt, Princess Nachos said. I have to agree. Me too. Yeah. Hey, what is up? Matt and James excited for all the updates based on the backer email. It looks like this live stream lounge might be packed with the biggest updates ever. Yeah, there's a lot that we're going to chat about. It's probably not the updates that you're hoping for. This is Aaron Farr, by the way, all the way in Australia. Like, I don't have the release date or anything like that, but I've been talking about these deliverables for a long time, and I've just loosely, because it's so much, I've just been saying, well, I have to get a couple versions of the movie, and there's contracts and blah, 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 blah. But tonight, I'm actually going to share with you everything under the hood. And I can't always show you guys what things look like, but at least I can show you exactly what everything is. It's the technical deliverables, and you may find it really interesting. I was really interested in all of it. It all makes sense, but man, there's so much just to like get a movie out. We're like, oh my gosh, we spent 15 years making this movie, and like now there's all this other stuff. It's just crazy, everything that goes into it. So I cannot wait to do that. Aladdin is going to be awesome when finished. Thank you, Cal. Oh my gosh, it's super, super exciting. Also, huge congratulations on the wedding and upcoming birth. Thank you. This is a crazy, wild year. Love the glasses. Yeah, old school. And I'll tell you what, with the pugs and the Burger King and the Boba Fett.
I think you got to drink away from the puck.
Drink away from it, or put it right next to your mouth or something.
Counterbalance it, like.
But once you get to a certain point, though, I think it almost flips in. My nose is holding it. Okay. So we have a lot to talk about. We're going to be rifling through all of these images. This is the live stream lounge, by the way. Normally, I have about 100 images that we go through in this show. We've got well over 200 that we are going through today. So with that, let's dive in. Let's see. Oh, I keep pushing the wrong. There we go. Okay. Oh, do I have this backwards? I do have it backwards. Finally, this is the last time I will have to tell you guys there's new thank you videos you guys should go check out. Finally, they are all unleashed. They are all there for you to check out. if you go to the Aladdin 3477 YouTube page, if you scroll down, you'll see a whole playlist called thank you videos, and you can see all of them. If you are a Kickstarter backer that backed the project at the, gosh, what was that? The Sky Sail Sky Club? It might be Aladdin's Inner Circle, I think. If you backed at that level or higher, you got a thank you video, and it'll be there for you to check out anytime you want, like a little love and you want to see some Aladdin cast and crew telling you how amazing you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Draw this in your style, always happening. In fact, we got a recent Fiji from Harrison Berger in LA, and Harrison has a special affinity for Fiji because he helped out during filming, and there were several times he was the person either puppeteering Fiji or part of the people puppeteering Fiji, which was great. And he just did such a killer job. What an amazing piece of art. And I believe he TikToked and Instagram lived the process, and you can see like a quick time lapse of how he created this beautiful art. And he sent me the original. I've got this original Fiji. So cool. Super happy to have that as well. Princess Kamala, draw this in your style. Look at this new image from Kaylin Conkey of Princess Kamala, of course, portrayed by Christy Perovsky. Love this. It's like complementary colors with the purple and the orange. Just such a great job with the light and shadow. Of course, I'm always all about the hard edges and soft edges with cast shadows and form shadows. And this just does that so well. I keep pushing the wrong button. My Stream Deck currently isn't working, so wah, wah. Although I do have a new sound effect. You like that? I should do that every time I need to think of something. Just go, well, let me think about that. Okay, what we should do is, would that be no?
No, I think it's totally an awesome idea.
Right. Oh my gosh. All right, let's go. I keep going to push the wrong button. Fiji Fridays, always happening.
Fiji Friday.
And in fact, at my wedding, I can't remember if I showed this last time or not, but Fiji's were there. It was not an Aladdin 3477 wedding, but of course, I thought it would be cute to doll up a couple of the Fijis and do that. Have you guys seen, those of you that are on the Aladdin 3477 Instagram?
A doll?
Yeah, and it's with Fiji, and the account is, oh my gosh, it is Senya. James, you've seen it. I know you've seen it. What's the name of the account?
What are you talking about?
This account on Facebook with the Fiji and the
I've not seen things like that on Facebook.
Not Facebook, Instagram.
Are you putting it to your feed or what?
Yeah, I share them on the stories and stuff.
I may have missed this.
There are so many awesome Fijis with this doll, and there's like other robots and stuff too. It is amazing. It is so cool. And almost every Friday there's a new one. They are so fun. Gosh, I should have written it down because I can't remember the name of the account.
Like the proportion to that's an actual Fiji ball.
I know, isn't that amazing? If you're on the Aladdin 3477
Is that
Instagram,
Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
That's a little tiny ass Switch.
Yep. If you go to the Aladdin 3477 account on Instagram, you'll see I've reposted a couple things and shared a couple things. You'll find it pretty quick. It's amazing.
Huh.
Cool collection. What is up, DTE? What is shaking? Evening, the chairman. Welcome. What is that doll bigger than Fidgy for him to fit in that bag?
That's what I'm saying.
I know. Super, super cool. Yeah, there's a bunch. You'll have to check it out on Insta. Now, in addition to that, usually the Fidgy Fridays, I do the designer toys, but occasionally I'll throw a real Fidgy in there. And I finally figured out how to get, I bought these huge glasses for Fidgy, but they don't really stay on very easy. And I found a way to kind of take a zip tie and stick it into the top. And so now Fidgy thinks he's a movie star now with the big. He will be, right? Real quick, and some of you saw this, the last live stream lounge was a Character Hub collab, but I just wanted to share the bullet points real quick because it was a lot of fun. So they had this contest where people could have me redraw their character, and they were just 10-minute sketches, but these are the ones I did, and I chose ones that I thought were, excuse me, I thought were really cool. So this was the original that someone did, and then here's mine. And I just wanted to show with line quality, thicks and thins, how much it would improve. So this one, I thought the drawing was incredible, but all of the lines are the same thickness. So it kind of has a spaghetti kind of feel to it. And the drawing is great, but I thought, man, if you could just have thicker lines in the right place and thin lines in the right place, as well as having some variety and having connecting edges, how much more. And see, even without color, there's a little bit of shading here, but even without color, do you see how much more voluptuous you can kind of feel around the character with that? So anyway, so there's a bunch of these that I just kind of gave my 411 on, the all designs I thought were really cool, but what I would do different. This one here, I just really love the shape of the head. So I wanted to kind of figure it out more like three-dimensionally what the head looks like. I just thought it was so cool. This, I loved the design, but I thought it would be cool just to kind of take that same thing, but add a little bit more tech, add a little bit more like sci-fi knickknacks here and there, just a little bit, just to give it a little bit more detail. I thought would be really cool. This was just an evocative thing that was out of this world. I just wanted to draw it because it reminded me of like DC Vertigo, like Sandman kind of stuff.
There it is.
This is amazing, and I did not do it justice. I tried my best. This looks so amazing. Part of it is just the colors. The digital color is so cool. So I just kind of drew it really quick, but in 10 minutes with literally a Sharpie, a fine point Sharpie, and then shading real quick with a pencil does not do it justice. That is just so amazing. Cool, right?
Like the luminescent eye would flood the highborn for you, my queen.
So cool. Anyway, you can watch this entire video and see me draw them in real time. If you go to my YouTube channel and you click on the tab that says live, you will find that there. All right, new videos. So there's a new video where I ask the question, do lines really exist in real life? The answer is no, they don't. But what are lines and how we kind of interpret them in our brains? And it's an interesting video. If you're an artist, I think when you start thinking along those lines, it'll help your line quality. And there's some neat things you can do with it. And then the following video kind of is a more advanced version of that, where I really get into outlining what it does, how we kind of perceive it, and also cross-hatching and kind of the difference between the two. So there's some cool videos that you may want to check out. Also, James and I were hanging out in Venice Beach, and we did a cool video on how to copyright your work. I had to just do something recently where unbeknownst to me, I had to copyright something that I didn't know that I needed to. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit.
That's the video when that green painted lady was yelling at tourists outside the bathroom.
Yes. And then we did a follow-up that we filmed at the TCL Theater in Hollywood. The used to be Man's Chinese Theater.
Oh, yeah.
And this is on the poor person's copyright. It's not the way I would recommend to copyright your work. There have been times where it has helped in court. It does not always help in court. And so when I released this video, there were a lot of people that reminded me of that people did that thinking that would be enough. Now, of course, you want to do the official copyright, but this is, I do this as well, just in case, just as an extra thing. And some people say, well, you can fake it though. Anyone can like put a date or open a bag and then close it again and say, oh yeah, it's the same as the date on there. Yeah, but it's just something extra, just in case. If there were ever like a civil suit, something smaller, where they're not going to take the time to go through the Library of Congress. It could be a quick thing. Again, this is not the only thing I would recommend to do. It's just another thing, and it's the price of a stamp. Unless it's big stuff, and then it's the price of more stamps. So there is a really cool video from Casey and I getting married, and it's a really cool trailer that the videographer company put together, which was fantastic. Complete Solutions did such a great job. There's going to be a longer video that's like, I don't know, a 9-minute video or something like that, and that'll be on the way too. But such a great day. Do you have a good time there, James? It was a good time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and you're in the video too.
it was a spectacular time. Oh man.
That was a lot of fun. There is also a trailer. Speaking of trailers, there is a trailer that the place that is hosting this big Star Wars art show called Kunst der Stern, there's a cool trailer for it. You can find that on my YouTube channel as well. And I am jetting Tuesday. I cannot wait. Oh my gosh, it's going to be epic. We'll talk more about that coming up. Okay. Most of you know about the official collector's edition. It's this really cool book. Some of you have this, some of you don't. And it is just loaded with really cool info. Well, guess what? Now there is a full audiobook. I've been promising it for a while, but just last Tuesday, I dropped on my YouTube channel. It's free. You can listen to it. You can also watch it. And what's cool is there is a digital version of the book. And as I'm reading through, it goes to different close-ups and different areas of the book. So if you don't have this, it's a really cool way to take in the information. Or if you have it, maybe you didn't have a chance to read it from cover to cover. This is something while you're at work and you want to put, if you listen to podcasts or audiobooks, this is something you can listen to and check out for free. There's also a commentary that I released a couple months ago, which is not me reading through it, but it's me going through it. And again, it's not a camera over my shoulder. It's the actual pages, digital pages. The commentary is cool because I talk about how the book was printed and how I did the designs and how I organized all the material. And if you're interested, it's just kind of a neat behind the scenes. Instead of a commentary for a movie, it's a commentary for a book.
Oh, I would have totally Mystery Science Theatered my commentary just through that book.
Oh my gosh. That'd be great. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but a lot of you have noticed, perhaps, that I have been dropping once a day a new TikTok, a new Instagram reel, and a new YouTube short. These were videos, for the most part, videos that I already filmed. And it's an experiment that I wanted to do this summer where I release a new one each day because people have been saying forever on TikTok and on Instagram Reels that if you release a new video once a day for an entire month, you will get 20,000 followers. And I was just like, I want 20,000 new followers. I'm curious if it'll work. Eric Steele did this, 2 years ago or something like that. Sure enough, for TikTok, he got 20,000. So I've done this now for 3 months. It's been 3 months exactly. And I will continue to do it, but I wanted to share my results. So starting with Instagram, in the first month, releasing a new video each day, 22 new followers.
Okay.
Second month, 38 new followers. Third month, 11 new followers. So I would say if that was ever a thing for Instagram Reels, I'm too late. Everyone makes Reels now, and I don't know.
I will say this: this guy David that I see every week, I didn't know who he was. He's just some Chinese guy.
Mhm.
Someone said, "Hey James, Uncaged Games shows up at that local shop that you work in." That really? So I looked him up on YouTube. He's got over 750,000 subscribers, and like, what content are you putting out there? And it's just him reviewing like certain products he's interested in, or putting himself in edited videos of himself in like a Mortal Kombat or a game kind of thing as a hobby. And his hobby he is now monetizing. And Matt, you put together videos of yourself all the time. I mean,
I know. I don't know. I don't get it. Well, I mean, I do okay. And Instagram, I don't really have. I'm only at 3,500. So I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm not quite there yet. TikTok, I just started. So literally, when I started this, I was barely doing anything on TikTok, and I had 122 followers, but I just was not doing anything to promote it or get new content on there. Well, in the first month, 47 new followers. Second month, 48 new followers. Third month, 36 new followers. Not that great. Finally, YouTube, which I had when I started, over 11,500 subscribers. First month, 61 new subscribers. Second month, 67 new subscribers. Third month, 20 new subscribers.
Is it just a pattern of third month?
I don't know. I'm not sure. You know, it could be anything with the algorithm. I don't know if my hashtags aren't as good or they're not as juicy. I can tell you this. It's really strange. Sometimes I think I have like a really good, like everyone's going to love this, and it'll get just over 100 views. And then I'll have one that I feel like is a little bit more throwaway, and it'll get like 3,000 views. Like, and I don't know. And then it's different between the three of them. Sometimes on one platform, a video will do really well, but not the other one. It just feels like it's happenstance. The crazy thing is, so I've put so much into getting all of these shorts, reels, and TikToks, yet the Aladdin 3477 trailer, 2.1 million views, and that bumped up my follows probably on Instagram too, but especially YouTube, which is where the video was. I mean, I got probably at least 1.5 grand new subscribers just on one video. So I don't know. It's crazy. Well, that's something we'll be talking about soon. We should almost spend an entire stream talking about it, because, man, social media, you can talk so much about it. We all love it. We all hate it. What's interesting is I feel like any way you slice it, we used to be, when we would make content for film, DVDs, comic books, magazines, all the things, we were making hard copies. We were making collectibles. We were making things that people cherished, that they could enjoy over and over again. We've come into a world where literally everything we make, whether we put a lot into it or whether we didn't, it's all disposable content. And it's hard to process that. And I mean that in more ways than one. In fact, here's one of them right here. This was devastating. Literally months before I did my big push for the Aladdin 3477 Kickstarter and everything, over the course of about 13 years, the Aladdin 3477 page on Facebook had 13,000 followers. Then suddenly I got this notification from Facebook, your page has been unpublished. It looks like recent activity on your page doesn't follow the Facebook page policies regarding impersonation and pretending to be an individual or business. So apparently they thought I was pretending to be Aladdin 3477, like I was pretending to be the producer or something.
You sham.
So here's the crazy thing. When they pull a page, that's it. There is no coming back from that. There is no customer service. Facebook is a free service. You can like it or leave it. They don't owe you anything. They can pull whatever they want. And if they did something on accident, oh, well, start a new one, which is what I did.
Yeah.
But after 13 years of building that fan base, that was a kick. That was a kick. Bless you. That was a kick.
So what are our numbers standing at now?
The new one, I don't know. And a lot of it, I just bounce from the Aladdin Instagram to it. I don't pay for anything on it. So it's tough. Those pages don't get as much traction as your personal page because they see it as a business. And if you're not paying for it, they don't want to promote a business that isn't paying for it. It's kind of the point of having a business page, a pro page, is that that's something you would pay for people to see more, because people are on Facebook usually not to see business content. They're usually there to catch up with friends, ideally, even though that's a weird thing, because when you go on Facebook, does it actually show you your friends, or is it an algorithm of stuff it thinks that it wants you to see? Anyway, it is what it is. I don't want to get on a tangent on that tonight, but there's a lot to chat about with it. Okay. We got some comments. Oh, one of my photos is upside down. Whoops-a-daisy. The chairman says, good night, everyone. Good night. All right, because it's a throw everything at the wall mentality these days, quality and consistency has gone out the window. Yeah, there's just so much to chat about it. I don't know how this ended up upside down. I spent hours going through this, and it was always right side up. That's me in case. So real quick, I just wanted to talk personally about what is happening. I keep pushing the wrong button here. Cancel. I wonder if there's going to be more images upside down. That'll be interesting to see. Look at this. It's not a COVID test. And this was our 7-week ultrasound. It's 7 weeks. You can't really make out what it is. But if you look close, I feel like, they say it's just like kind of like cells, like kind of globbed together. But I could swear when I look at this, I see this, which is funny. At the time, we didn't know if it was a boy or a girl. But guess what? We are having a boy. Excuse me, Alex Bouchel put this together for me. A version of this, I kind of added some fun stuff around there as a joke, like 15 years ago or something. He saw this baby and he thought it looked like me, so he added my hat and the knuckles on there, tattoo knuckles. Anyway, one of my favorite books as a kid, my mom's favorite book was Harold and the Purple Crayon, because my grandfather's name was Harold. And I just thought, oh my gosh, and this says yesterday's ultrasound. This actually was in May, but do you see the resemblance there? I feel like it looks just like Harold and the Purple Crayon. But a more recent ultrasound from a couple weeks ago, that's my wife, Casey. And I could swear that the baby looks just like Casey, because check it out. Here's Casey. There's our baby.
Okay.
It's like the same, right? Looks just like her. Okay. Anyway, the crazy thing is, who knows what day it will arrive, but it is expected on September 22nd, which is my birthday. What is up? Woo woo! Greatest birthday present ever. All right, we need to chat all things Star Wars. So There's a bunch of things this year that are happening. It's my 30th anniversary of Star Wars. The first thing that was unveiled was the Fright Rags Episode 1, The Zombie Menace. It's both a t-shirt and a baseball tee. You can get these right now on Fright Rags, but you want to act quick because you can see here they also have, it's on sale, the Living Dead Strike Back shirt, but the Return from the Grave sold out. Too late. This, of course, is, oh my gosh, what's her? I forgot her name. Taylor Swift loves Star Wars, the radio drama CD. Sure, she does. Okay, so a new thing that was unveiled, Journal of the Whills. James, do you even know Star Wars? Do you even know what the Journal of the Whills is?
Refresh my memory.
Well, to old school people like me, the Journal of the Whills was something that people wondered about before the first Star Wars movie even came out, because it never references this in any of the movies. But the very first novelization by George Lucas, which came out just before the movie was released, on the very first page, it doesn't say Episode 4, A New Hope, but it just says Star Wars on the title page, and underneath that it says, taken from the Journal of the Whills. And everyone always wondered, what are the Whills? Like, is it an alien? Like, what is that? And then this is where I'm a little bit foggy. Fast forward decades ahead, no one ever knew what the Whills were, but either in one of the later seasons of Clone Wars or maybe Rebels, I think we learned that the Whills were like these angelic Jedi or angelic force keepers. Someone needs to let me know if anyone knows what the Whills are. Please school me on this. I've seen it, but there's just been so much going on in the past couple of years. It's harder for me to keep track of what everything is. Anyway, so Journal of the Whills, let me know what those are. There is, I keep pushing the wrong button. Bruce Willis. Journal of Bruce Willis's. Anyway, so new artwork by me featuring young Lando, Donald Glover. I could not wait for you guys to see this. There's actually another version of this artwork that maybe you guys will see sometime, but this is the cover of the new Journal of the Whills. This is in Germany. Cannot wait for you guys to see it. So there's they're using the image to promote a bunch of new content that is releasing soon, probably out now. I'll probably know more about all of this probably in a couple days when I'm over there. But it's cool. They're using the image all over the website in banners like this and in banners like this. Super cool, super exciting. You can see here it's the fashion issue of Star Wars Das Officiel magazine. And here's the cool thing. There's two covers, and this here is an exclusive cover, a variant cover. And I believe the only way you can get this cover is at the art show that's coming up. Super exciting. Cannot wait to check these out in person. Very exciting. So this is the show here, and it says here it begins the 12th, which is this Friday. The 11th, there's actually a VIP opening night thing happening, so I'm super excited about that. Robert Bailey is the other featured artist. His work is, you can see here, the pencil sketch is just amazing. Uwe Reber, who is a German artist who is fantastic, super, gosh, I've known him for a long time. And he has these color pencil illustrations that are out of this world. I think Mark Rotz has work that's going to be there. And then I'm going to have 101 illustrations framed on display. I'm just tickled about the whole thing. Okay, so I can't read this, but this is information on me. There is a welcome message on the website. And also, I posted this last week on my YouTube page. You can hear me speak a little bit of German. My German is not very good. So I'm hoping that the Germans find this endearing when they hear it. Of course, Robert Bailey. Robert Bailey does these incredible pencil sketches, these renderings. So he had this piece here that has Darth Vader cut off, and they thought it would be a neat idea. I was going to do a new piece kind of for the show, and so they thought, wouldn't it be cool if you did the other half of Darth Vader? So I kind of did all of Darth Vader, but then everything kind of goes over to the left there, and this piece is called Vader's World. You put them together, and it looks like this. I think it came out really cool. Half me, half Robert Bailey. That's fun. It was fun to do for sure. There is a new video series. You guys have been asking for new You Can Draw Star Wars videos. There is a new How to Paint Star Wars video series, probably going to start in a couple weeks. Can't wait for that, where I show you every step of the way making this illustration for Vader's World. Cannot wait. All right. And what else is going on with that? I'm going to be doing a workshop assigning all the things. Then Casey and I, we're spending just under a week in Germany. Then we are going to spend just under a week in Switzerland. So excited about that. We're going to all kinds of places. The place that I'm excited about most, though, one of my favorite artists, especially like when I was in college, was H.R. Geiger. Do you know who H.R. Geiger is, James?
You've mentioned his name before, and I feel like I should know this at this point.
He designed the Alien from the Aliens movie.
I'm just thinking of Gary Gygax.
And I think, oh gosh, what's the other one? Was it called Spectre? No, I can't remember what the other one was. But anyway, he has all kinds of just bizarre, dark, everything looks like an exoskeleton kind of stuff. Really, really cool. Definitely a fave, especially like when I was in college. I have so many of his books and everything. I forgot that he was a Swiss artist. So a couple months ago, I mentioned Mark Rotz, who is an amazing Star Wars artist out of Australia. He recently was in Switzerland, and I saw on Facebook, thank goodness for I know we bag on Facebook, but thank goodness for this. I saw a post. He went to the Geiger Museum, H.R. Geiger Museum in Switzerland. I totally forgot it was there. And the museum has a bar, the Geiger bar. And when you go into the Geiger bar, the entire bar looks like the inside of an alien skeleton. And even the chairs that you sit in have like vertebrae, like kind of going up and stuff. This is the stuff you read about in books. Literally, I have 4 books that show images of this place. I've known about it forever, right? I'm going to be there. Casey and I are going. We are going to check it out. It's in Gruyere, Switzerland. Of course, I'm going to take.
It's named after the cheese?
That's where they make the cheese.
I love Gruyere cheese.
Gruyere cheese. I don't know if I've ever even had it, but it's literally, there's a cheese. And that's the funny thing about this museum. They bought a castle. The family bought a castle, or maybe H.R. Geiger bought the castle. It's this quaint little town. They make the cheese there. They also make a world-renowned chocolate there. So there's a chocolate factory. Everything looks cute. It looks like, Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, pastel colors, beautiful, built into the mountains. It looks like it's trapped in the 1950s. And out of nowhere, the Geiger Museum, which is like naked women, alien, like just, they all look kind of like the xenomorph alien creature, just out of nowhere. I guess it's hysterical that you just like turn a corner and it's like just kind of out of this world, but super, super cool. Cannot wait to go. So I'll have lots of pictures and video and everything else. Can't wait to share with you guys. Okay. Afterburn, the movie. I have been anxious to talk a little bit more about this. They just wrapped filming Afterburn. So You might be asking, what is Afterburn? So let me do this. Gosh, when was this? 12 years ago? 15 years ago? Whoops, I keep pushing the Stream Deck.
Maybe you got to reassign that button.
The whole thing doesn't. I know the whole thing doesn't. Look at this. I have issue number 1 of Afterburn, Red 5 Comics, and all I did was the cover for the very first mini-series. I did all of the covers. And, you know, it was interesting when this happened. There was something about it, and I was really busy. I had a lot of Star Wars stuff that I was doing. And I know the two guys, Scott Chitwood and Paul Enns, who used to work for Lucasfilm. Scott Chitwood, who ran a bunch of cool fan sites like comingsoon.net and a bunch of other stuff. They started this company. This was their new flagship title. They wanted me to do the covers. And I remember at first I was like, I said, show me what you want, but I'm just letting you know I'm really busy and not. But their pitch was so good and it sounded so cool that I really wanted to be a part of it. And they were really excited about it. And they even knew back then, we really want to push this as a movie. Everyone wants to push their comic book as a movie. I'm like, yeah. But there was something about it. It's like ninjas and it's kind of like Indiana Jones and there's zombies and mutated sharks and like so much cool stuff. Anyway, and they were really, really easy to work with. They had all the reference for me. I wish I could take credit for what everything looks like, but they already had the character sketches. Wayne Nichols, who did all the interiors, they already had like photo reference for me to work with. Everything was already planned out. So all I had to do was crank out some really cool paintings, but they just finished filming and there's been a couple things that have either leaked on the internet or have been shared by Dave Bautista and Samuel L. Jackson. So I wanted to just share a couple fun things with you guys on the movie. So this was the very first. I happen to have this in my files, but this was the very first ad in Diamond Distributors Publications for the first Afterburn. For some reason, I had a photo or a scan of it, which is wild. Here was one of the announcements, Dave Bautista and Samuel L. Jackson. Here they are. This must be on set, I believe. And it's hard to tell, but Samuel L. Jackson, on the other side of his head, he's got like these cool scars and stuff. Really wild. It was announced, since we've had the last podcast, that Olga Kurylenko, did I say this last time? I can't remember if we talked about this or not. But Olga Kurylenko is in the film playing a lead role, and then Christopher Hivju from Game of Thrones. He was one of the.
I think you mentioned.
Did I? Okay,
maybe.
Not the White Walkers, the Wildlings.
Looks like Terry's friend Nick.
Okay, yeah, it does. Anyway, so this is the first sketch that I did for cover number 1. And check it out. Here's Olga and her stunt double. Is that cool or what? I mean, it's kind of like this. Wild. Cannot wait to see this film. There's the finished cover. And then there's Olga and Dave Bautista. Good night. See you later, Princess Nachos. I cannot wait. There is so much action in these comics. The feel of it is kind of Indiana Jones, but it's set in a post-apocalyptic future. And if it's anything like the comic books, I've heard that they Scott Chitwood was telling me that they said they're even using the colors from the inside of the comic book to kind of reference the movie. I guess the filmmakers were really, really taken by the cool colors in it, which is just wild. Look at Dave Bautista.
Oh,
what a bad A. Oh my gosh, so cool. this is really, really going to be, if it's a sliver of what the comic is, this is really going to be a wild movie. Another pencil sketch of one of my covers. There's the finish. Here's this. I don't know if this was leaked or not, but I think there was a news site that used drone footage to kind of spy on some of the action that they were filming. There's Dave Bautista on set. Here's another cover. And then here's one of the interiors, like military. So cool. So can't wait for more. We'll be chatting about that. I would love to get Scott and Paul either together at the same time or even separately. I'd love to have them as guests, cool. Chiming in to like talk about their whole process and stuff. I would love to get Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista I saw recently on a Mr. Beast video. Do you know who Mr. Beast is? Mm-hmm. And then and I forgot to share that on here or get a thing for the slideshow. But Sidney Solomon, who plays Vishal, was on one of the Mr. Beast videos, and he played a crazy game of 3-car Monty, and he landed $10,000 in the back of this sweet ride.
I talk about Mr. Beast all the time at Jawbreakers, I swear to God.
Super, super cool. Okay, it is time to dive into Aladdin 3477. Okay. Again, nothing too crazy. No release date. The distributor hasn't been named yet because I'm pretty sure they're going to do a press release where they announce, that they're releasing Aladdin 3477. So that's the only reason I haven't mentioned. As soon as it is known, I can't wait to talk about this company and some of the other cool things that they've done. I think you will agree that Aladdin 3477 is in good hands. So real quick, the backer kit is what we're doing everything through the Kickstarter. The first 3 swag boxes were pretty much on time. There was a little bit of a delay with the first one, but then the next 2 came right on time 3 months later. Thank you guys for your patience. The 4th one obviously is late. Everyone who's supposed to get the 4th swag box, of course, is going to get it. It's just I'm at the mercy of the distribution company, getting the Blu-rays, everything else. The good news is it is going to be the best swag box, and it's just because quality. It's going to be amazing once I have them, and then it'll be my mission to get them to you guys ASAP. On the pre-sale store, there's some new items I've mentioned before, items that weren't on there originally, like the Fiji magnets. I do have, I thought I was sold out. I have a couple more of the glow-in-the-dark wristbands. I think there's one bandana left. The keychains are now on there, the glow-in-the-dark keychains. I thought I was out of pens. I found a couple more. I think I have 1 or 2 of these light-up pens left. The sticker sheets weren't available before to buy them individually. Now they are. If you want more stickers, t-shirts are all sold out. So this stuff, once it's gone, it's gone. There will be new products, but any of this other stuff, if you want it, this is where to get it. The Aladdin 3477 backer kit. You can find links to that in all of the info on all of my socials. Okay. I appreciate when you guys get stuff, taking images of the boxes, doing openings, unboxings, videos are so cool. The movie. So as you guys know, there was a huge process about a year ago, maybe less than a year ago, where I was putting out packages, sending them out. Ultimately, James and I went to the American film market.
Yeah, we did.
And we pitched it. It was a lot of fun. It was a hoot. Ultimately, we signed with Glenn Reynolds of Circus Road Films to rep the film. And oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I did. There's some things where he's been really, really helpful. I'm trying to think if I can talk about those. I can talk about them with James. I don't think I can. I might not talk about.
There are a lot of things we would not have been able to do ourselves.
Yes. Yes, for
things we
sure.
clearly didn't understand.
Yeah.
And things that Glenn will save us from.
And there's some new things. There's some new things too I need to share with you. So that was signing with Glenn. This is signing with the distributor who will be named soon. And then the film is going to be one of many new films coming out. This is the film catalog,
what's
not the
above
distributor. A movie called 49. What, you had an idea for a movie called 49?
No, you should have just put like a random blank space ahead of it so we would be on top of it.
This is just in order, obviously alphabetically, of films coming out. Okay. I have been talking about technical deliverables forever. Now, most of these I can't show you what they, I can tell you what they are, and you're going to see words of what they are, but I can't show you the finishes yet. You will see them. Ultimately, you're going to see all of this. But I find this fascinating. Now, this is not my first rodeo. In the mid-2000s, I put out a straight-to-DVD film called Conjure. This is a much bigger film. This is a much bigger distributor. This is going to have way more eyeballs. It's a much bigger project any way that you slice it. But there is so much more than I ever thought I would need to kind of have my ducks in a row to get these technical deliverables out. Everything has changed. When I put out Conjure, that was right before video stores died. Everything was still Blockbuster Video and Video Gallery and Family Video and all that. Today, obviously, everything is streaming. It's TVOD, it's AVOD, it's SVOD. It's all the things. Well, oh my gosh. So let me dive into, this is what I've been doing the last 4 months from sun up to sundown. Here we go. Okay, first of all, there's the video master. So there's a couple different versions of the film that I need to make. So there's the film itself, which cannot have any burned in subtitles. And does that say that here? Yeah, it can't have any burned in subtitles. Then there is another version of the film which has what's called M&E tracks. So what that is it is the music and it's all of the sound effects, but you don't hear any voices. So you will see a character that James plays called the Noodle Master, and you will see his mouth moving, but you won't hear anything. The reason why is because when this gets subtitled, or I'm sorry, it's going to be subtitled too. When it gets dubbed in other languages, they can't have vocals over the top of someone else's. So all of the music will be the same. All of the sound effects will be the same, but that way they can do dubbing in different languages.
That's rough too, because you get some where there'll be subtitles burned in, and then people will turn subtitles on, having to go through, disable them real quick for that one conversation, because then 2 sets of subtitles will overlap.
Yeah,
it's annoying.
All my old Jackie Chan bootleg videos have that going on. Now, on top of that, I had to make what's called a textless ref file, which, my gosh, there was so much confusion on my part because it's called a textless ref file. You would think if it's textless, it doesn't have any text in it, right? No, it has all the text in it, and it also has time code. That way they can see what the subtitles are supposed to look like, and they can do subtitles in all the different languages, but you need a clean master with no subtitles. That way they can add it as is. Eric Steele chiming in. What is up, Eric? Oh, we will have a chance to hear us in all different language. Hear us all in different languages. Yes, I don't know how many languages. I can tell you for sure Spanish and for sure French. But I think that's all we are going to hear, because the any kind of Blu-ray or DVD or anything that you would watch on a US streaming service, usually when you choose other languages, you can't also choose Hindi, and you can't also choose Thai and everything. So usually French and Spanish, continental US. As
the director, do you get to vet the French guys voicing our various characters?
I do not get any say in in any of that. It'll be, when this comes out, it'll be just as much of a surprise to you what everything sounds like in another language as it does to me. I don't.
Well, I want Don Cheadle.
It's kind of frustrating because there are some things that I do not get to say. There's some things I don't get to see until it's done. And part of it, I get, the distributors technically own the film now. And if they run everything by me, they don't really want the director to be like, can we do this instead? And, and just slowing everything down at every step of the way. So I kind of get it, but it should be really, really, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really, really cool. Ted, what is going on? The Premise Land. Okay. So that's the film, right? Then audio. So same thing. There is multiple ways. The M&E tracks. Gosh, I'm trying to think what else I had to do for that. This is all, it's been a blur because for several months, this was all I was doing. The trailer, there were 4 different versions of the trailer that I had to make. Again, same thing, M&E tracks. I had to do ones that were, what else did I have to do? Textless ref. It's just been intensities in 10 cities. There were some interesting things here. I just kind of went through and cherry picked some of the information that I thought you guys would be interested in. Sorry, I don't know why I'm coughing. One is the billing block. I had to make an official billing block, but in the trailer and in the film, not allowed to have any URLs, which I thought was interesting. So even in, not only on the poster credit block, the trailer credit block, also the trailer end credits, not allowed to have www.aladdin3477.com, nor allowed to have the distributor's website. Not sure why that is. Maybe it's because websites come and go, and maybe that kind of dates things. Also, websites are, I don't want to say they're dead, but everything is either apps now or social media. So like a website in general, does that date things if you see stuff with http www.com?
Not necessarily. There's a lot of apps, companies that use apps, their apps suck.
Yeah. Well, also a lot of the companies, their websites suck too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Just as that online banking is so much easier just through the site rather than the app.
Trailer has to be clean for subtitles. Let's see here. No. Track available. MPA cards are not allowed. Oh, you can't have any call to actions like watch the YouTube trailer or check out the
smash that like button.
Whatever. Yeah, check us out on Facebook for la 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 la. Okay, so we're segueing into the key art specifications. This was probably more than half of the time doing all of this. This was such, in some ways, I know a lot of this, having worked in advertising and worked in advertising for film. A lot of it made sense and was things I was familiar with. And usually they kind of take this on, but they trusted me with a lot of this because a lot of this is what I do professionally. But it was really interesting. Normally I'm on the other side of it and I'm just kind of told what to do by an art director. Hey, we need this. But to oversee all of this was so fascinating. Let's dive in. Okay, so first there's obviously an official poster with a billing block, of course. Now, a lot of these are just random things, and you'll see here, this is the Tubi poster. Now, just because you see Tubi here, you're also going to see things for Apple TV. You're going to see things for Amazon. It doesn't mean for sure we're going to be on Tubi. It doesn't mean for sure we're going to be on Amazon or Apple TV. We create stuff for all of them, and then the distributor decides. First of all, you have to get through quality control for all of these. which I think we will get through all of them.
Quality control for Tubi.
For sure, for Tubi, I'm sure.
Walk through the door.
I'm sure we'll get Tubi, but I don't know if we're going to be on Tubi. And part of it is because we haven't had this we've had a meeting where we loosely talked about things, but we haven't had an official one saying, okay, we're going to do this one. We're not going to do this one. My heart says, why don't we do all of them? Let's get it out there. Like, the more people can see it, the better, right? Well, this distributor, like any distributor, they're a business and they know what works and what doesn't work. They know what trends are. They're putting out movies all the time, so they can see clear as day what is actually going to help and what is actually going to hurt. And the idea is, if you just put it everywhere, you're kind of spreading it thin. I'll give you an example. This is just a weird hypothetical. Let's say I have 100 friends. Okay. I have more than 100 friends. I know. Let's say there's 100 people that I can get to watch Aladdin 3477, and that's it. No one else is going to watch this movie. More people are going to see this than that. But let's just say, hypothetically, there's only 100. Knowing that only 100 of my friends are going to see this, if we put this on all of the platforms, 5 people watch it on Amazon, 5 people watch it on Apple TV, 5 people watch it on Tubi, 5 people pay to watch it on YouTube, 5 people watch it on Google Play. We have not pushed the threshold of any of the algorithms. It's not hot anywhere because just a couple people are seeing it everywhere. If only 100 people are going to see it, if you narrow that down to one of the places, maybe 2 of the places, but especially one, now you've got one place where suddenly there's 100 people watching it. That might help give it a boost, and it might make it to where it, like, the day it comes out, there might be a thing on the main page, like, what is the top 10? Can you imagine getting on Netflix and being one of the top 10 things that are hot on Netflix that day? That would be really cool, right? So there's a strategy to everything, and it might be, again, this is just a guess, I don't know, it might be, maybe it will get put everywhere, but maybe at first we're going to pick one, and then maybe a couple weeks later, then another one, and then another one, and then it'll be a rollout of starting with TVOD, a couple months later, maybe SVOD, and then maybe 6 to 9 months later, AVOD. Mm-hmm. Who knows? So this is Tubi poster. It's funny that they call it a Tubi poster because it's really not that big. This is small. This is, I mean, it's like the shape of a poster. But what was interesting is I had to rethink. I couldn't just take the poster and make it smaller because it needs to be able to, you need to be able to read it when people are sitting on it on their couch far away from their TV and they're looking at all the thumbnails of all the movies. It has to be readable. You're not allowed to have like the credit block. You're not allowed to have something at the top like welcome to India. The year is 3477 because no one's going to be able to read those tiny letters. Literally all it says is Aladdin 3477. Mm-hmm. So there's an example here for what the Tubi poster looks like. And it's funny because 15 years ago, I would have said, wow, this looks really unprofessional. This looks like, because there's no other words. There's like no design to it. It's just so simple. To me, it looks kind of cheap. But today, where you're sifting through a bunch of things to watch, you want it to be simple. You want it to be easy. You want it to be something that stands out from far away because when people are looking at this, it is really, really tiny. Then there's the Tubi landscape. So depending on how you're sifting through Tubi, sometimes there's an upright one. Sometimes there is a horizontal. Then there's the Tubi hero image. This is something in the background that doesn't have words. And I think once you click on something, this is just an image in the background that has, like, if you want to select closed captioning and all the stuff. let's see, what is this? iTunes and Apple TV. So this is the cover. So the cover is interesting. This is an example here. This is where things were complicated, and some of you might be wondering, hey, did you illustrate this, or is this digital art or photos? And the answer is it started as kind of art slash digital art, but when I had the poster that the distributor chose, they had some changes that they wanted to make. So right away, it was like, oh my gosh, if they're going to make changes, and I kind of knew I was going to have to make some different configurations, I kind of need to do this in a way where I'm able to shift things around depending on what the layout is. And they kind of want all the art to kind of be the same so that it's recognizable. The problem is every platform has multiple different configurations, which you're about to see. There's some crazy ones in how this works. So here you can kind of see where it says Surge, and you can kind of see the guy there. This is the area. You have to make artwork covering everything. But then where the yellow is, and especially where the red is, you don't want anything too contrasty, because that's where things come up that people click on or select if they want subtitles or watch the trailer first before they commit to watching the film. All the things. Okay, next there is the Apple TV backdrop. This one was bananas, because I had to take what the approved movie poster was, which goes up and down like this, and I had to squeeze that into this frame here. On top of that, the green area is the only area where the art is safe. That's the only area where you can kind of see the characters and everything. Everything else, the red is where you don't want anything important. That's where the title's going to go. And then everything that's kind of in the yellow around there, they want artwork, but it can't be too much contrast, because there's going to be words and things to select. And at the bottom, there might be, other movies that you might like to click on or whatever. That was a challenge, because I had an approved movie poster like this. Now I've got to squeeze it, and the important stuff can only be here. Super, super challenging. What it meant was I had to basically create new artwork for every single one of these. Ted, that's what I say all the time. To be or not to be? That is the question. Apple TV backdrop tall. Okay, here's another one. This was interesting, because this is tall, kind of like a movie poster, a lot skinnier. But again, the green area is where you're safe to have artwork that people are going to see. Red, do not want anything that can't be covered. And then all the yellow, again, nothing too crazy, too contrasting, because that's where there's going to be words and different things for people to read. Apple TV color logo, that's where it's basically a PNG of the title. Then there's also the single color logo. Here's the film title for Vudu, another streaming service. Okay, next up, DVD. For those of you that back the Kickstarter, or if you are following the project on Kickstarter and get all the updates, you got the news a couple days ago that I never knew this before. It's official. There is going to be a DVD, which I was super excited about. No word on VHS. I don't think they're going to go for a VHS, which I think would be kind of fun and kind of cool to do. But the DVD is going to happen. It is not part of the Kickstarter, though. So for those of you that back the Kickstarter, even at the top level, and you're like, sweet, I'm going to get a DVD. The DVD was not something that was ever promised. It's not something that I will have a surplus of that I can put in the Kickstarter packages or anything. You'll be able to get it on Amazon or
it's like most DVD
any number of places.
On computers and laptops, they just by default also play Blu-ray. So.
I don't know if that's true. The opposite is true. Blu-ray players will play DVDs. I don't think DVD players will play Blu-rays.
Which is,
unless it's
like recently, it seems like all
ones, yeah.
disc players happen to be equipped for Blu-ray or
mm-hmm.
some sort.
So I'm excited about that. The DVD will have bonus features. The DVD, I'm told, will have closed captions for the hearing impaired. It will have subtitles in at least 2 languages. And yeah, it's crazy. Let's see. I think this is spam. Yeah, this is spam.
What? You get spam on there?
Yeah, sometimes we get. I don't know what's up with that. So putting together the DVD packaging was really interesting because you can see here we weren't allowed to use the normal DVD video that you see because that is trademarked and you have to pay for that to use that. And you have to pay, I think, for as many products, like as many as you make. So if you're making thousands or tens of thousands and you're using their logo, I mean, you might only have to pay, and maybe it's less than a penny, but I mean, if it's tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of units, you might be paying a couple thousand or something like that. So it's easy for Marvel and Disney, like, oh, that's the one everyone sees. Yeah, we'll pay for that. But for small potatoes, smaller independent, that's just silly. So there's no point. Yeah, there's just no point when you can use another logo that you are allowed to use. You can call it a DVD, but you just can't use that DVD logo unless you pay for it. Yeah, spam comments. So this was a lot of fun to do. This took a long time because it's kind of just the cover on the front. It's the on the side. Keep forgetting what that's called, but not the gutter, the spine. The back took a long time because there's so much information. There's little photos and bonus features and just all the information to get all of that on the back and to make it look good and appealing and have it so that if someone's in a store and they see this and they're like, what is this? And they flip it around to the back, it's got to look good. It's got to be pleasing. It's got to flow nice. You can't just put a bunch of random stuff on there. It has to look good and it has to be a pleasant read.
Are you going to have a thing with the 3 in the trilogy? The spine will form like a little piece of an image, like 1/3 of a thing every time.
Gosh, James, where were you when I was designing this?
Because well, you didn't tell me. Next time you sit down, you're like, I'm going to design this, James.
There'll be, that'll probably be for the collected version that has even more
the 10 hours of bonus footage.
Yeah. And that'll have a 4th disc just loaded with it, so there'll be 4 of them that will.
Just saying, like, this is what you have me on contract for.
All right, so next up there is there's the disc. Obviously, Dave Todd says, dang it, spine idea is great. James, yeah, that is really cool. All right, Blu-ray, same thing. Not allowed to use the Blu-ray. That's trademarked. So you have to pay for that. And you have to pay for it every time you use it. So we use a different logo. Again, this one is loaded with extras. So I can tell you, okay, there are 12 confirmed extras, bonus features on the Blu-ray, most of which, if not all of which, are also going to be on the DVD, I think. The Blu-ray, some of these you've seen or may have seen. Some of these are videos that are already on my YouTube, a behind the scenes video. There is going to be new content specifically for the Blu-ray. Also, there's new content that's going to be on the Blu-ray that later I may release on YouTube. And I know you might feel like, well, that doesn't make the Blu-ray special. Look, we are small potatoes right now. We are the underdog, any content we have that people might discover and find interesting, we need to get out there. So I hope you would agree that as a collector, we like to have a hard copy of everything, and that's really cool. And you'll have a hard copy of everything, but a lot of those features, if they aren't already on YouTube, they probably will slowly find their way on YouTube, because we are the underdog and we need to keep people interested in everything like that. And again, I am one person creating all of this content. If I had the Disney machine where there's an endless surplus of all this material, that would be great. Yeah, we could have all exclusive material on the DVD, and the only way to see, or the Blu-ray, and that's the only way you can see this material. That would be great. But again, I'm one person trying to do all of this. So it is what it is. Another thing I wanted to chat about is subtitles. What about subtitles? Oh my gosh. Because I don't think it's something. Oh, maybe it is something. It is something we're going to talk about. Okay. All right. Yep. Blu-ray. Yep. Amazon poster. What's interesting about this? This is really weird. At Amazon, they call their posters banners, and they call their banners posters, which is bizarre. So, for example, here, this is information for their poster. The poster is actually, I don't have an image of it here, but their poster actually goes like this. Then their banner, you would think banners go like this, right? Well, sometimes banners go up and down, I guess, but I usually think of it like on a website. Well, I guess banners go this way too on websites, but usually I think of a banner going across like that. Here, the banners go up and down.
Amazon just has to be different. Huh?
Amazon has to be different for sure. Then there's the Apple TV standard poster. Apple TV banner for iTunes and Apple TV. This was interesting. This was a challenge for sure. This is the Apple TV banner. Again, the artwork you can kind of see on the bottom. This was just an example that they had. You can kind of see how the artwork goes all the way across. And then if you look at the graph above, you can see everything that's in red. It cannot be anything too crazy. It has to be low contrast, things that can be covered. Then the yellow is like, well, you can have more important artwork here. Just know that it can be covered as well. And then you've got the safe area. This was, there's no way I could take the poster. When you guys are going to love this poster, it is really cool. I know. When I released the poster with the white background of Aladdin and Fiji and all the cool stuff inside Aladdin's vest, I thought that was just a really cool way to kind of introduce. But I know a lot of people were expecting something a little more Matte Bush, flashy, with stuff all over the place. I think this new poster you guys are really going to dig, and it's probably going to be a little bit closer to what you would expect from me. But what a challenge it was taking that image. How do you translate that into this configuration? Nothing like driving on the parkway and parking in the driveway. How backwards. That's exactly it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I choked on something in the back of my throat. All right. Next up, Apple TV title treatment. Here's another one. How bizarre is this? And based on a movie poster that's like this, that's a giant montage with stuff everywhere. Now I've got to somehow figure out how to take that essential image, have the important art in that little square, nothing important where the title thing goes. And then this is the user interface overlay where there's words and things you can click on and everything else. So here's an example of what it would look like when it's done. but super interesting. Like, how do you do that? And I found ways. So what's interesting, a lot of people say, what happened to movie posters and when they were illustrated, when they were painted? Like, remember that back in the day? Part of why everything now is kind of digital and just like a lot of times when people in advertising, when the executives hire people to do the artwork, they demand everything is on a separate layer and it's a completed image on a separate layer. Part of that is because when everything gets thrust into all these different configurations, they need to be able to move the assets around. And if it's artwork, great, but a lot of times it ends up just being Photoshop images, because how do you work with all these? A lot of times with the bigger studios, what's great is they have teams of artists working on all of these and kind of making it work for every little thing.
Hey, Matt, where's your team of artists?
It was just me. But a lot of fun, and it was cool kind of being able to do it all, but just the deadline aspect of it was grueling. Google Play. This is an Apple TV. This is a square version. Okay. Next up, photography stills. So this was super interesting because for the first film alone in the Aladdin 3477 trilogy, James, do you want to take a guess how many photos total we have between like promotional photos, behind the scenes photos?
Oh, geez. I think out of the
photos of like the weapons, photos of the props and everything,
including
the
all
costumes, just the first film alone.
I'm gonna clock in at 2,500.
More.
Oh man.
6,500.
What?
6,500 just for the first film. Now I knew if I gave all of them, and they kind of wanted everything, but if I gave them all, then I can't be upset when there's an article that comes out and it's like they just grab something and what is that? That's like Kasawa's hand holding like the side of like something with a Mountain Dew bottle. Like, why would they choose that photo? Well, so I really narrowed it down so that behind the scenes images, maybe 100.
You narrowed it down from over 6,500
to the best of the best, because I don't want them to grab, like, if there was something where we had extras on set, for example, there were some that looked amazing. And then there are some that like maybe not as much, that we just quickly threw something on someone or whatever. I don't want that to be what gets published in the New York Times review of Aladdin 3477. And that's the image that how did they even have access to that crappy image, right? So I really narrowed it, all of those things down. But oh my gosh, images for all kinds of stuff. The process of narrowing. And then I had to make sure, like, okay, I have 15 images, 15 good images of Lochan Shyamalan that I'm happy with. Let's bring that down to maybe 9 of the best. And it's like, gosh, these two are really good, but they're both kind of the same, looking in the same direction. I'm going to get rid of one of those. Gosh, this one has really cool swirly smoke, but this one's cool because you can see more of the little blue eye light up. Which one is better? Like, it was really tough for me to choose, but I had to do it because when all of this comes out, there can't be any mistakes. There can't be anything where I'm like, why would they choose that one? This way, everything they have is awesome and so good that I'll never be upset. It's anything that they share.
How long did that take
looks
you?
good. Narrowing all those images down.
Yeah.
Probably 2 weeks from sun up to sundown in organizing and making sure there's a little bit of everything. Then it was probably another couple days cleaning up everything and reframing it and playing with the levels to make sure they're just right. It took a long time. Okay.
Can't rush perfection.
This has been, I probably won't talk about this too much, but this has been super grueling, and that is closed captions, subtitles, and forced narrative subtitles. So closed captions, as some of you might be thinking, isn't that all the same thing? It's not. And they're different processes. It's different softwares. It's completely different. Closed captions is for the hearing impaired. So in addition to what people say, it'll also describe the music, or it'll describe you hear the footprints crinkling through the sand or something like that. It's all the things. I've read through the closed captions for the film. They're fantastic. Things like upbeat music, or sad Hindi mandolin, or like really, really good. It really helps sell everything that's in the film. That's closed captions. Obviously, subtitles. Forced narrative subtitles was something that we had to go back and forth a little bit. There were some things that needed correction. So the film, even in English, even if you don't turn on subtitles, the film has what's called forced narrative subtitles. That's anytime, even if you're watching a version in English, anytime someone speaks in another language, it has subtitles underneath. That's super important for a number of reasons. For one, there's Hindi, there's Cantonese, there's Thai. Also, there's robot. There's beeps and boops. Sometimes you don't, like, anytime Fiji makes beeps and boops, you never see what it says because you can kind of tell what Fiji's saying. There are other robots, though, like the bounty hunters that are kind of cybernetic a little bit. They have crazy robot sounds that there are subtitles, and you can see exactly what they're saying. So similar to Star Wars, there's like aliens and everything where they might have subtitles. This is super important, though, because there are things in the film where there are characters who sometimes know what someone else is saying. More importantly, there are times where the characters don't know what someone else is saying, but the audience does. And then so there are some super important things. It isn't something. So I was really adamant about making sure they were correct. There was a little bit of back and forth on that. Technically, I didn't have the right to make a demand to see those because it's not in the contract that I would, and it's just not what the QC will catch if there's any errors. I really wanted to see. It's super important to me because if there were any errors, I mean, that would be like watching a movie and suddenly someone talks and they're speaking like gobbledygook for no reason.
Yeah,
like,
no, it matters.
It absolutely matters.
What was it? It was Flower Drum Song. It's in English, but there are two parts in the beginning of the movie where two guys speak Chinese. And unless you have these subtitles on, you do not see that. And they're just speaking Chinese. And it just bothered me the first time through when I realized I have no idea what that conversation was.
We should have had forced narrative subtitles. So anyway, this was, I could go on and on about it. There was just a lot of,
I should have wanted you to be able to see.
Well, and ultimately I got to see, and there were some mistakes. There were some things that needed to be fixed. Closed captions were perfect, but that was a different process. Okay, let's see here. What else we got? Photo guests, 372,000. That's way more than we had, but 6.5. Shoot, there goes my Price is Right viability. That's great. All right. Oh my gosh, here's all the files like .itt, .stl, .ttml, .dxfp. Oh my gosh, like just bananas. And it's been daunting going through all of this, but super exciting. So of course they had to have a final copy of the shooting script, chain of title. So this is Bananarama. So the chain of title is actually a document that links tons of contracts and everything else, kind of showing who owns Aladdin 3477, how does it work, what is the company, what is the distribution company, the actors and actresses, who gets credit for this, how everything, like what is the copyright, and for this film, it was actually pretty easy because I had so much help in so many places. But for the most part, I'm a one-man band kind of doing a lot of this. So it was very easy. Everything just kind of falls under me. But with a lot of films, it's not that way. A lot of films, it's tough because you know, the first rule in Hollywood is you never make a film with your own money. You always use other people's money. Well, that gets complicated. Who owns the film? Who's getting paid what? It's just this, it's this crazy cluster of everything. Okay, copyright registration. So I had the first screenplay copywritten in 2013, a year before we started shooting. What I didn't know until going through all of this, I didn't have the film copywritten. Because I thought, well, if the screenplay is the idea, it has everything that happens. Oh no, you need to copyright the film too. So did that. Okay. Next up, LLC. So I had all of this information. The only thing I didn't have is the letter of good standing. Here is the crazy thing. This blows my mind. So a letter of good standing, any company that you would like to work with, or if you want to see a company, maybe you're just curious, you can go to the state where that company is in. You can go onto their website. You can look up that company and you can see point blank, do they do good business? Do they have good standing? You can see it clear as day. If you want them to publish or to print a letter or a certificate of good standing, I'm trying to remember how much it was. It was like $180. So here's the crazy thing. I had to submit or produce a letter of good standing. Here it is right here, $180. And all it says is, oh yeah, Kaleidoscope Koi, according to information that anyone can look up, they're in good standing. Like, if someone's interested, why don't they just go to the website and look it up? Why do I have to pay that kind of money to I mean, it's pretty.
That's astronomical amount.
But like, it's like the certificate. And I'm wondering, like, are people going to go to, and I'm not knocking the distributor, any distributor we would have went with would need to see this. But is this, I mean, this is like frameable. Like, are people going to walk through their offices one day and say, ooh, what's this? It looks like an award. What is this? Oh, that is a certificate of good standing. Is it for your company? No, it's for a company called Kaleidoscope Koi Entertainment based in Michigan. We work with them on this film called Aladdin 3477, The Gin of Wisdom. As you can see here, their company is in good standing.
Watch. You
really?
have to renew that every 2 years?
Ooh, really? No. Well, don't quote me on that. There's a couple things here that I did a couple things in a clever way, so I won't have to do this every time there's a new movie. This is one where absolutely the next time I need to produce this, I'm just going to send this one. And if they want a new one, then maybe I'll have to get a new one. But if no one says anything, which so much of this is just people pushing paperwork, most people probably don't care. I probably will not have to do this again. What is up, Ted? Thanks for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. Okay, cast and crew agreements. So I had all of these, but I had all of these for cast. I had all these for crew. I had talent release for everyone that kind of worked and helped out, from big to just like they came and were an extra one day, all the things. Here's what took some time. I had physical copies. Everyone signs, right? Well, they need all these.
Oh.
So what it meant is I had to digitize every single one, every single page with the signatures on them.
Of every single person?
Then once I had them, I had to like kind of look at each file, and I had to have each file a PDF with the pages. I had to name them. So in case they're ever looking for James Polony, they can find it based on the name of the file. Thank goodness Casey helped me digitize these. I still had to go through and name them. I had to find all of the contracts. I had to pull the staples out of each contract so that they could be scanned each page and kind of grouped together the same.
Oh, you need a clerical
that was a lot. For the first film alone, the number of contracts for cast and crew, almost 200.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, that's every extra, and you know, we use a lot of people more than once. Okay, the paid in full letter, that was pretty easy. They had a what is it called? The form for me to just kind of fill out and sign. That was no big deal. A template, I should say. Final head and tail credits. So this was interesting. I had to have from beginning to end at the beginning of the movie, all of the opening credits in a Microsoft Word doc, and then all of the end credits at the end. Same thing. That wasn't too long. I was able to copy paste the end credits, but the opening credits I had to retype in. No big deal. That was like a morning. Title report. Title report is two things. It's the actual title report, and then it's a title opinion from a lawyer. The cost of this is $500. Basically, it's a lawyer going through, looking at the title Aladdin 3477 and seeing, is there anything else out there like it? Are you able to use this? Are there people that are going to, like, could you potentially get sued for this? Is there anything? Is it a good title? But mostly legally, is there any issues you might have with the title Aladdin 3477? What do you think they said?
I was going to say, didn't you do this yourself before you even wrote this?
That's copywritten. A title report is where someone on the outside, there's a place called the clearance lab, and I can show you. This is actually the title opinion from a lawyer. And then this is the first page of the actual title report. There's many, many pages in it. I think I'll show you one of them. But this is where they look up anything that has a similar title and they let you know. The good news is they don't think there's a problem with it at all. Aladdin is public domain, and the fact that it's Aladdin 3477 clearly separates it. In fact, it separates it more than other versions of Aladdin, where a lot of times they'll just call their project Aladdin, even though Disney has Aladdin, but it's in the public domain, so anyone can kind of make an Aladdin film if they want.
Man. I would have watched every single Aladdin-esque movie. I would have ripped and pirated all of it, and like, nope, you're good.
They even looked up video games, comic books, plays, all kinds of stuff just to see if there was any confusion with the title. There was not. Anything that came up for Aladdin 3477 was already the project. So that was good. In addition to the title report, there's the copyright report. So the title report is just the title. The copyright report is the actual content. Oh my gosh. And that was $400. The copyright report, same thing. No issues anywhere. All is good, as I knew it would be. Copyright, mortgage, and assignment signed and notarized. So this is where, now the good news is, actually I contacted Christy Perovsky, who plays the princess. I knew because of her legal background, she would know. I asked if she was a notary, a licensed notary, and she's not, or at least she isn't at the moment, but she told me, she said, you can go to any like UPS and you want to call first to make sure they have someone there. You have to set an appointment. Usually you can just go to UPS and do it there, which I did. And the cost is usually only about $20 where they do the official seal. They're like a witness to signing the whole thing. However, the way this contract was, there are two places that it needs to be signed and notarized. And because there's a copy that I get to keep and a copy that I have to send to the distributor, that's 4 times that it's notarized. So again, it's only $80, but it's just like, oh my gosh, isn't there an easier way to do this? To just like It's nickel and dimed every.
It's called Eric and the Label Maker.
There you go. Yeah. So the clip cue sheet. So this is a complete listing of anywhere that I used clips, footage, royalty-free footage. There are a few, but not very many. There might be more in the second film or maybe the third film, but I was actually going through and there wasn't as many as I thought. Most of what you see we filmed. Occasionally there might be a background either on a computer screen or something that we did in front of a green screen where there was footage that I purchased for the background. Most of it we filmed. But anyway, the ones that I didn't, I had to have a complete sheet listing who the licensor was, listing who the creator was, listing where in the movie it starts, where in the movie it stops, and how many seconds and how many frames it is. Like, oh my gosh, I had to do this for each of them. Luckily, there's not that many, so this was no big deal.
Most of your establishing shots, fun fact, you went ahead and shot yourself.
Yeah.
Which I think is actually pretty neat too. There's no stock.
Around the world. Executed music licenses. This was quite a bit. Actually, this part wasn't as much work. This is just all of the licenses, which I was able to group together. By the way, most of this I have done. I thought I was going to have all of this done before this live stream lounge. There's a couple things here that I need to do tomorrow, in addition to packing and jetting on a plane on Tuesday. So I'm hopeful, fingers crossed, I will have all of the deliverables in tomorrow, which is great. This, I have everything in a folder. I just need to rename a couple things so they're easier to find. The films, the music, what I did, instead of hiring one person to do all of the music, the film is such a smorgasbord of, it's just a roller coaster of emotions, different landscapes, so many different things. And because the film is adventure, there's kind of like a John Williams-ish aspect to it. But because it's also very ethnic, very world, it all takes place kind of throughout Asia and India. There's a lot of world music to it. But also because it's in the future, there's kind of like a futuristic techno rock / I don't know if you could call it dubstep, but a very cell dweller kind of sound, which is cool. It's kind of the three of those mixed together, and sometimes it's a little more this or a little more this or a little more this, or sometimes it's both of these. It's just a little bit of everything. In some cases, I kind of created the music using production licenses, but a lot of times if I found music that I just absolutely loved, I would license that music. In fact, before we even started filming, I had loose music for every single scene in the whole trilogy. I already had an idea of how I wanted everything to sound. In some cases, that's changed. In some cases, it's exactly how I envisioned it sounding from the beginning. Okay, so having all that together, that part didn't take as long, and I just have a couple things I need to rename, and I'm good with that. This is, oh, and then same thing for the trailer music, had to get all the licenses together. That's just the trailer, so literally there's 4 different licenses, no big deal. This was daunting. This is, for the film, the music cue sheet for the picture. This is every time I licensed music, I had to list, and you can kind of see an example here. This is just some. There were in total, I think, just under 100. But I had to have the name of the song, the exact point that the song begins, the exact point that the song ends in the film, the total duration of that clip, then the composer, but is it the composer or is it the performer or is it the publisher or is it all three? Who they are, then the first name, last name, who is it published by? Sometimes it's more than one place. And then ASCAP, BMI, what percentage is going to each, all this information I had to know and list for every single licensed music in the film. This took quite a while figuring all of this out. Music cue sheet, same thing, obviously 2-minute trailer. That was much quicker to do.
This is making it easy.
Press kit materials, synopsis, all the things, press reviews, all the websites that have done reviews, the billing block. Billing block is interesting, by the way, because again, because I don't technically own the film anymore, in the original Aladdin poster and all the posters I've had before, I've kind of put more names on it than you would usually see. And now they kind of have a limit for how many there are. When you usually look at a movie poster, there's usually a set limit from about this many to about this many. So there were some things that I had to leave off the poster, and that kind of bummed me out. But it is what it is. You can't just give trophies to everyone who shows up, you know.
Ving Rhames seems to get one.
Ving Rhames keeps winning
everything.
Yeah. So it is what it is. Okay, this was one thing that was cool. Proof of errors and omissions insurance. This is something you normally have to provide. Thank goodness this is one of the things that Glenn fought for when doing the negotiating. He was able to get this distribution company for them to pay the proof of errors and omissions insurance. That's normally, I think usually it's about $2,000 probably. And he was able to get our distributor to rock that out. So that was something I didn't have to do. Thank goodness. What now? Okay. So here is what the scoop is. What now? So I'm getting all of these deliverables in. If I understand things correctly, this week, hopefully, everything is going to go through what we call QC, stands for quality control. If I'm correct on this, I think what they do, everyone knows Apple TV is the most scrutinizing with their quality control. So if you can get through Apple TV, there's nothing you can get on anything. They're the most strict about how clean everything has to look, how crisp the sound has to be. And if you can make it through their quality control, you're not going to have an issue anywhere. Okay. So I think that's kind of what they do. It doesn't mean that we're going to be on Apple TV necessarily or Apple TV at first. This is all things that I don't know yet. Okay. The process for QC, and you never know what they're doing. You just kind of submit everything through QC. The process takes usually between 12 and 16 weeks. Sometimes it's a little bit quicker. Sometimes it's a little bit later. Also, in the chance they find something they don't like, something that, again, I don't really know what, if something doesn't look good enough, or if the levels are blasted or something like that, then you have to fix that. And then they run it through QC again. So if they find any snags, I don't know if they totally have to start over, or then if it gets put through the fast track to complete QC. I'm not really sure how that works, but it obviously would slow things down at least a little bit. Once it goes through QC, the next step with the distribution company is to decide on a release date. And that's when we have meetings on marketing and release. And then things happen for reals. So that's where we're at right now. This is the calm before the storm. This is great, though, having the next 12 weeks-ish. This is great for me And I don't know if in 12 weeks they're going to say, okay, boom, let's do it. The movie comes out. Usually they have, even if they tried to do this as soon as possible, the marketing leading up to release is usually like a month and a half to 2 months, where the date's announced, there's a trailer, and then there's like stuff every day that's like getting people revved up and excited. Pre-sale for different things. I also don't know what the rollout is. So I don't know which streaming services. I don't know any of this. I also don't know, even though usually it's TVOD first, that includes anything you would see in a movie, Blu-ray, anything that you pay for to own or pay to rent. But I don't know what the order is. So I know a lot of you think, oh my gosh, are we going to be able to see it in theaters? Possibly here in Detroit, so we'll be able to see it first. I don't know. I know it seems like that would be the logical thing. We would see it in a theater, and it's like a premiere, and we're going to see that first, but I don't know if that's the actual rollout. Here's the reason why I don't know that and why it might be different. A lot of times with independent films, especially these days, distribution companies are experimenting with a lot of different ways for pictures to be released and to drum up excitement, buzz, all the things. And I'll give you an example, a juicy example. Clerks 3, which came out a year and a half ago. I actually went to go see it with Eric Steele and Luke Castle. So I was interested to see it. I'm very interested in everything Kevin Smith does. His films are hit and miss with me. I really like his Evening Harder things where he talks about the business. And I feel like Kevin Smith is super interesting just hearing him talk about stuff. Some of his movies, I do like. Well, when Clerks 3 came out, he announced, I'm taking it on the road. Come see the film with me first before anyone else. And I'm coming to your town. And so I looked, sure enough, he was coming to Detroit. Now, he announced this, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in like August of like 2 years ago. Tickets went on sale. And it was towards the end of October that he was going to be in Detroit. Okay, great. So I got tickets. Tickets, by the way, were pretty expensive. I got the cheapest ones I could. Nosebleed seats, and they were still $80 a piece.
Hey.
It's like $80 to see a film, to see a movie. Dude, you can see, and it was at the Fillmore or the Fox Theater. I can't remember which one. Maybe it was just at the Fillmore, but you can see bands there cheaper. Well, and all he's doing, he introduces the movie. He's got a Q&A after. So he announces, okay, so I get tickets. I'm going to see the film first before everyone, right? Well, guess what? So I got my tickets in August. At the beginning of September, the film came out in theaters. What? Dude, I just spent $80 getting to see it. So I watched it again. Did he not say see it first with Kevin Smith? Well, he wasn't lying. See it first with Kevin Smith.
Oh.
Or you could see it other ways, potentially first, or you could wait and see it with Kevin, or you can still see the movie, but there's always a first time you see it with Kevin Smith, and this is the way to see it first with Kevin Smith. I could have caught a matinee at the Imagine Theater right down the street. I could have caught like a $7 matinee or whatever. Instead, I spent $80. But it was a cool experience. It was also, for me, it was education. In addition to that, a couple weeks, and it wasn't in theaters very long. At the end of September, it was released on Fandango or something like that, where you could purchase the film, video on demand, and watch it at home in the comfort of your own home. And I still haven't seen it first with Kevin Smith before anyone else. So that was a little like, you got me.
Read the fine print.
Of course, went there, sold out show. And it was amazing. He just brought the film. He brought someone to film it. He brought someone to announce. He had one more person running the merch booth. The merch was crazy expensive. Then we saw he had a meet and greet. There was like meet and greet packages that started, I think, at 500 and went all the way to like 1,500. And the most expensive ones, you could get a photo with him. You could get one item signed. And then there was something else. I'm trying to remember what it was. Anyway, it was, meet him, get something signed. What was the third thing? Anyway, it was crazy because what they did, everything was so structured where everyone got in line. So you get to meet him, right? So everyone was lined up around the side of the stage, the front of the stage. They kind of forced everyone out, but me, Eric, and Luke, we kind of snuck around and just wanted to see what was. Eventually, we had to leave, but we saw everything we needed to. First thing Kevin Smith does, walks around the perimeter. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Hey, good game, good game, good game, good game, good game. Hey, how you doing? All right, so he's met everyone. Then they had just a couple people that were there playing leapfrog. Oh, get a photo with Kevin Smith. Oh, then it's signing stuff. So then he goes, he's got a Sharpie, and he's basically, everyone has to hold their item out for the people that selected to get something signed, which cost more. Walks by with a Sharpie. Hey, how you doing, Kevin Smith? Kevin Smith. Walks, signs everything. Then the photos, he had 3 people helping him. They're like leapfrog. So 2 people ahead are getting someone's camera ready to do it. Okay, yeah, I've used this phone. I know how to do it. Kevin Smith goes, hey, what up? Then he walks to the next one. What up? Hey, Snoochie Boochies. And the people doing the cameras, they're like leapfrog, constantly ahead of where Kevin Smith is to make sure they can take the photos with people's phones. Went through the whole thing so quick. It was amazing. Do you know how much money he pulled in that night? Amazing. Amazing. And I was wondering, how is Kevin Smith going to, like, this show can't possibly sell out with these kind of prices. Are there that many Kevin Smith fans here in Detroit? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And look, I was entertained. It was really, I did really like Clerks 3. I didn't care for Clerks 2. And Clerks 1, honestly, I didn't really, I thought was, I thought it was overrated at the time. It was different, and you don't see dialogue like that in movies. Oh, yeah, it's different, but like,
it concluded the Clerks trilogy.
It did.
Now, and you know what? I finally saw it, and I had thoughts.
Did you like it? Yay or nay?
I mean, yeah, I did. Overall, I did, but
it was moving. I thought it was pretty.
Why you gotta do me like that, Kevin Smith? Why?
So, anyway, my point is, I don't know how things are. I don't know what the order is going to be, and I don't know if in 12 weeks, if this gets through QC, are they going to say, "Boom, marketing campaign starts next week. The movie comes out in a month and a half." Are they going to say that, or are they going to pinpoint a time like this month would be a good time? Let's aim for this month. I don't know what that's going to be. I'm going to be in Germany this week. I'm going to be in Switzerland the week after that. When I come back, I'm going to be working on more assets, more cool things, more videos, more things to kind of pump this up. Also, I have to finish. I have already started on it, but I have to finish the art book, because that art book is coming out in Swagbox 4. Otherwise, I think there's a patch that has to be made. Those are quick. And then there's the Blu-ray, and then Swagbox 4s are going to be coming at you guys, but that'll give me a chance to finish working on the art book. Exciting. Lots of exciting stuff happening. Okay. Moving on. Next up, James, we need to talk about.
Okay.
Where do we even start, James?
Let me just point this out real quick. Hang on. Let me set this camera. Okay.
Turn the camera around.
Well, it just depends on who's seen it and who hasn't seen it at this point.
Okay, so let's start with that. We're talking about the Acolyte, and this is you guys have had a chance to see it. some people don't like it, or some people have stopped watching it. So if you have whatever, or you don't want spoilers, we're letting you know right now. Spoiler alert, because we are talking about everything that has happened up until right now. I've got thoughts about everything. James, I see you walking around.
Okay.
I want to hear. I want to hear your thoughts. I want it unfiltered. Do you need more? And can I make you more?
So,
do you want another espresso in there?
No, probably not.
Okay, all right.
I got earlier, but still won't be up till like 7. Okay. Let me just say, some of the I'm all about the diversity, and I appreciate the inclusion in how progressive films have gotten in the past decade or so.
Sure.
Now, there are people who always have nowadays, people who are very open-minded but a little too aggressive with their progressive, I guess I'll just say, where there's a problem with everything. Kind of like how everyone hates on Blazing Saddles, even though it's a great film. But there are people who gave Lucas a hard time, saying, why is there not more diversity in this galaxy? And George Lucas, and I said, they're aliens. I don't know what you want from me. There are aliens.
They started giving him a hard time about the original Star Wars, that there isn't as much. It was there, but just not as much. But it's like that also was a film that came out
in the 70s, like, the early 70s.
And mind you, filmed in England.
I have no shame about there being a lack of Koreans in the original trilogy. I get it. But anyway, so the Acolyte. The moment that mask comes off, like, oh,
dude, even before the mask comes off.
Okay, before the mask comes off, the Acolyte is just going ham, doing all the cool stuff. But when that mask comes off, my dude, okay, I'm invested even more so now.
Did you not see it coming at all, or were you just
initially? I wasn't seeing it.
Wow. Okay.
I don't go in expecting a damn thing, because I just want to really see how the artistry and how whatever practical thing happens. And I was like, okay, he delivers on the action. That there's no question there. But can he really bring, like, the facial? Can he really bring it for the seriousness in any other scene? Like, does he have the acting chops there too? The brooding intensity, is there.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? In this day and age, respect. Represent Matt. If Matt ever gets to direct the next Star Wars, like, put me in, coach. I'm here.
Speaking of diversity and especially Asian actors, what do you think of Saul?
I'm curious to see what more range this particular actor has, but for now, I'm sold on.
And have you seen Squid Game before?
Yes.
Okay, you really it's this guy from Squid Game.
Yeah. So I'm cool on him. All right, that's good. But for anyone who doesn't dive deep into Star Wars or the legends or whatever, the things that may or may not be even considered canon anymore. Yeah. So Palpatine at some point takes on about 4 or 5 Jedi at once. Yeah. Because he had to. He was backed into the corner, did his thing.
Yeah, you don't think I never really thought about it that way, but he really was.
Yeah. And the Acolyte just
they raised their sabers before he jumped out, right? Mm-hmm.
And so
never thought about it that way.
Just decides, like, he sought out roughly 8 to 10 of them, and single-handedly just makes work of them. Dare I say, the Acolyte could easily be deadlier than Darth Sidious. You know who?
I don't know. Is he the Acolyte?
Oh,
the Sith. They call him the Stranger. Is the loose term.
But the guy we clearly are talking about now.
Yeah. And his name is Manny in real life. The actor's name. Manny something.
I didn't think he was. I didn't.
Anyway,
regardless.
Yeah.
it just I was going through a roller coaster of action fueled emotions.
Yeah.
With that, Matt, your thoughts?
Okay. When it started, I mostly gave it a thumbs up. It was clunky at first, and it seemed like maybe some of the acting a little. There were certain things about it that were really Star Wars. The fighting was really cool in the first episode, of course. But I wasn't sure. There were some things. There's some things that are actually kind of funny, and then some things that are like, was that supposed to be funny? Like what? Lots of good though too. Lots of designs that I thought were really cool. The diversity is really cool. Before we knew who the Sith was, I already loved that character. I thought he was great, and at first never saw that coming at all, that it was him, until there was something a little bit later. At first, Saul's acting also seemed clunky, and I don't know if it's because we know from Squid Game he's really good. Also, I thought in the last episode in particular, his acting was very moving, and just some of those scenes where you can tell what his mind, what he's going through, and it's just like moments of him just so frustrated and trying to keep his composure. I've watched the last 3 episodes twice, and every time I see some of those moments with him, I can't watch him without getting teary-eyed. I feel like he's so good. It was clunky at first, and I don't know if that was maybe the directing or maybe they just hadn't found it yet, and maybe as the episodes go on, the actors kind of feel the story a little bit better. I don't know. But episode 3 was a little shaky for me. Probably the thing that I liked the least. I do not have a problem. Some people are upset about lesbian space witches that can create babies through the Force without men, or whatever they're saying, or whatever. That doesn't really bug me. What I thought was weird is the whole chant, the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. That's just, even for Star Wars, that's really, really cheesy. It would have been cooler if it was a language, maybe, even if that's what it was translated to, if they were speaking another language, or at least if there was something a little bit more. I feel like Trump has more of a vocabulary than the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. Really?
Even in any other appearance by that type of that clan, like I don't actually think they had a different language that we ever heard.
Oh, in Star Wars? Well, there's aliens that speak other languages.
No,
and
like,
stuff.
we're talking about the Witches of Dathomir.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever actually heard them having a chant or any kind of other language, even in Rebels, even in any other appearance they've made.
I would have to think about that.
Yeah,
and also in Ahsoka, did they have a chant before those witches did their spell? I can't remember. Anyway, but okay.
Babies through the Force, that was a kind of weird though. I will say that was a little bit wonky. No problem with lesbian space witches. Let's just establish that.
So, okay. So episode 3 was a little shaky. Episode 4, when it got to the very end of episode 4, where we first see the Sith floating down, I've watched the episode twice, but that part in particular, I probably watched 10 times. It is so well done, and I got goosebumps every time, and I was just like, what? That was like, it was like a straight up horror movie, Japanese horror movie. That was so well done. And then the episode directly following, oh my gosh, does not disappoint. Holy crap. The fighting, it used to be that the best lightsaber fighting in any Star Wars anything was Episode 1 with Obi-Wan and Darth Maul and Qui-Gon. This like just takes the cake. Everything about it, it is relentless. The casualties is just like, what? But it also like, oh my gosh, it's just so good. Everything about it is amazing. I feel like there was a lot of hate and people looking for things not to like for multiple reasons. A lot of them were focusing on things like some of the things that they're saying ruins things that are special later. So for example, the witches, if they are able to produce children through the Force, that kind of takes away from how important the original trilogy and the prequels are. Kind of this idea that it's kind of the story of Darth Vader, the story of Anakin, how he was a child of the Force. He was this prophecy that brought balance to the Force that was so special. And in the end, it turns out he does destroy the Emperor and he essentially saves the galaxy.
It does bring balance to the Force.
It brings balance to the Force. So a lot of people are hating on it because they feel like, oh, if they can just produce babies through the Force, well, then that means that it's ruining anything. Now Anakin's not important anymore because he was not this prophecy like we were led to believe.
Well, maybe they didn't always have the ability to do so, and they just achieved it later and discovered it. You know.
Here's my thing. Here's what I've always thought from the very beginning in defense of the Acolyte. This show is a mystery that is meant to be solved. On purpose, we got that flashback episode where there were a lot of things that left out. There were a lot of things that they chose to show us. There's a lot of things they chose not to show us on purpose. By the way, the next episode, I believe, is going to be another flashback episode, and then there's going to be the final episode. So I knew right away a lot of this is not adding up. Wait, they kind of go, the Jedi are there. Osha May seems to start a fire. Now suddenly there's a fire. There's bodies everywhere. And everyone's just assuming the Jedi killed everyone. Well, that Jedi wouldn't do that. And whatever. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. This is a mystery. It hasn't been cracked yet. Everyone is making huge accusations. How can they make children from the Force and this and that? Did you see them make the children from the Force? Are you sure? Did they actually do that? Or are the two women in charge, or at least one of the women, are they just kind of saying that and leading you to believe that's what they're doing? This story, like, there's more to this story. And there's a lot they haven't shown us. Now, I don't know anything, and I don't know I hope I'm not ruining, if that ends up being that they were just telling this tribe of witches that to make them believe in everything, but really they just snagged two like homeless kids.
I mean,
and
like, typically there's Force involved, but.
So before everyone hates and stuff, I've always felt like, let's let this play out and see how it's going to be. Then the show just keeps getting better and better. So I say all this to say, if you're one of the haters that watched the first couple of episodes and you're like, forget this show, you need to give it another chance. You need to pick up where you left off, because holy cow, does it get good. And keep your mind open to it, because this story has not, the things that you hate about it, it may not be exactly as you think. The last episode, as we got to know the stranger, the Sith, whoever, unmasked, those scenes are so good. The acting, the intensity, it's also really well written. Some of the things where obviously he's a Sith, obviously he's trying to corrupt Osha, but the things he's saying, he's not wrong. You know what I mean? And I love that we're kind of seeing this gray area of the Sith. And James and I were talking about this before we started the live stream, where the Jedi, this is a really interesting thing because we're really seeing more of the Jedi's faults. And I always thought this during the prequels that, you know, they made they didn't even try to hide that the Jedi can't have possessions and they're not allowed to love. And Anakin was kind of bending the rules a little bit with Padme. And it makes for a great story. But this idea that the Jedi are all perfect and that they're like, there's a lot of weirdness, and there's a lot of rules where they definitely want to keep people in line.
There are shades of gray on both sides.
Yeah.
And it's not just always a battle between good and evil, because Jedi, there are points from Samuel Jackson, no offense, he's got a little condescending. He's like, oh, well, my superior position allows me to, like, no. And then some of the Sith actions, it's not done out of malevolence. It's done out of they let their emotions and the driving passion control their actions, which the Jedi like, no, control. Emotional, you can choose how to react to those emotions. And like, it's not always black and white.
It's super interesting because people couldn't see what you just did, but it really is two sides of a coin. It is not just necessarily good and evil. I mean, it kind of is, but I don't know. You know, it's super, super interesting. That episode was so well written, so well done. If you have fallen off to the side on the Acolyte, you need to get back on. Also, I love that helmet to death. That final scene when you thought the episode was over and Osha, again, spoilers, but Osha puts the helmet on. That was amazing. I was terrified. I was claustrophobic, and I thought for sure, because the helmet went on slow and you had the POV, like what she sees, you could hear her breathing, and it just sounded like she was almost suffocating. And it's almost like you could kind of see what was in the background, but it was real blurry. I was terrified. I thought for sure she was slowly going to lift it up, and as she lifted it up, you were going to see the Sith like come out and grab her.
Yeah, the helmet's so straight out of
gosh. And it's not what happened, and that's not what they intended to do, probably for the better. But like, I was terrified, and I've watched the episode twice. Even the second time, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's really good. I'm loving it. And I think the final verdict will be, how are they going to wrap this up? Some of the things that were a little clunky before, again, it's a mystery. And part of it is that they're purposely showing you things and not showing you things. So I think those first couple episodes, it might have felt like we were missing something. I've always said, even where the one Jedi who was meditating that gets poisoned, if I'm remembering this correctly, I don't think we ever see him drink the poison. We find him dead later, and it's assumed that that's how he died, and that's how she killed him. It's also assumed she killed him. But we didn't see it. Why did we not see it? You have to understand, when you write a murder mystery, this is how they do it. It's all about what they show you and what they don't show you. Maybe there's something there. Maybe I'm way off, but I'm pretty sure there's a reason why they didn't show us how that Jedi died. So much more to the story. Oh. We're going to learn a lot more, obviously, on Tuesday. Unfortunately, I'm going to be in a plane. I don't know if I'll have access. Maybe I will. Wi-Fi on the plane. Maybe I will have access to watch it.
Let's come to your house. I'll FaceTime you and just put it in front of this other phone.
Gosh, so funny. Oh, anyway, I love it, and it's, how would I rank it? I really love Mandalorian, and third season was a little whack, but and I really love Andor. Super excited for second season of Andor. How does this stack? I don't know. Right now, I'm super jazzed about it. We'll have to see how the season ends. If there's some good twists and mystery and stuff.
Mandalorian, Acolyte, Andor. Just currently. Yeah. They could botch the ending here, but we don't know.
Oh, so real quick, Oh, and are people leaving comments? Are you guys into this? I have returned. Never mind, disregard. Ted's in and out. Okay, I can see you guys are watching, so I hope you guys are interested. Leave me some comments. What do you guys think of the Acolyte? Real quick, I wanted to talk about the potion dealer, who obviously is the Sith. We're talking spoilers. At first I did not see it coming at all. However, there was a huge clue that I knew something was up, but it never occurred to me that he would be a Sith. There's a moment where they send Osha into the shop, and it's really strange because the Sith, the potion dealer guy, says, so you killed him without the potion, didn't you? And Osha says, no, I used the potion. Which at first I thought that was, man, that's weird. Why would he? Because it seemed like she was going to use the potion all along. What would make him think otherwise? But then when he got close, he looks at her and says, wow, you look just like her, or she looks just like you, or something to that nature. And I was like, what? It never occurred to me that he would be the Sith. I just thought, because he was obviously working for the Sith, I thought that he knew something that we don't know, where he knows more than we're leading on to believe. But I still thought he was the wacky,
he's just a mystical
funny guy.
Asian man. Like, maybe he just knew.
The other thing that I love about that, with him being kind of this goofy guy, is that it's kind of the polar opposite of Yoda. Yoda, when we first met Yoda, he was the goofiest green alien. No one ever would have thought, unless it was spoiled and you knew, like from seeing the action figures, this is Yoda, the Jedi Master, and it's a little green guy. But if you didn't know any of that, watching The Empire Strikes Back, you would be like, who is this little Muppet? Like, oh my gosh, he's adorable, but man, we got to meet this Yoda Jedi. You're expecting to see like an Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then it turns out this little goofy green guy is the Jedi. And I love that this goofy rascal is also this intense Sith Lord that is just intensities. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so in the 4th episode, the one that ends with the Sith Lord coming down, I watched it twice. The first time I watched it, I was thinking that the Sith Lord was one of the mom witches. Probably the one with the horns that seems a little bit more aggressive. That's who I thought the Sith was going to be. When I watched it the second time, and we see some of the things that he's having the conversation with with May, as they're kind of walking and stuff, it didn't make sense to me how he would get in the trap and get pulled upside down. But when I watched it the second time, I was like, oh my gosh, he's it. He's got to be it. He's got to be it. And then of course it was, which we saw in the next one.
I love when, like, especially with Grey Jedi type things, where, yeah, some of the most relatable and complex written characters, they're not just all evil for the sake of being evil, or insufferably just morally superior, like, oh, I'm clearly the good guy. It's the ones where they have the moments where you can see their humanization, their flaws, and it's not always tied up and perfectly in a bow happy ending. Like, no, some of the best characters have just flashes and experiences that could have tugged them in both directions, and then you see, well, ultimately this is the path they walk in the end. So well, it's super cool. I'm digging it. Mike Heston, what is up? If the Virgin Mary can birth Jesus, then why not? Yeah. And that was the whole thing with Anakin Skywalker. It doesn't bother me, but some people are really bothered that if this is also the case, it kind of makes Anakin not special. Again, like,
I don't know how I feel about it yet. How I do feel about it is let's wait and see how this pans out. People might be getting their panties in a bunch about something that's not.
Oh, you should
know,
see Reddit subthreads right now. Like everyone, panties in a bunch is just a reactionary thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure what. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, there is more to chat about. Fan mail. We haven't done fan mail in a while. Oh my gosh.
Since the last time we went live.
Gosh, let's what is next on the docket? Let's see. I have no idea what's in here. Person would like me to send something back.
They always do.
Photos of me. Hey, Matt, I'm 22 years old and I live in the burbs of Chicago. I'm a big fan of your work, and my brothers and I are huge fans of Star Wars. We love the movie, and we think you did an amazing job on the cards. Could you please send my items back signed so that I can give one to my brothers as we collect them? Thanks. For we are replying. We'll be so excited to hear back from you. Thanks a lot. If you could send some signed cards as well. You know what? I will send. That's really nice. That's really cool. Okay, so I'm going to sign these, and then I'll probably throw some swag. You know what? I will say this for people that send me stuff. This is one stamp. So this would cover maybe these photos, but as soon as I start loading trading cards and stickers, and I love sending stuff back, but when there's one stamp, it either means I can't really put anything else in there, or it means I have to start putting stamps on here for everything. So I usually tell people, oh my gosh, if you send me a manila envelope, I mean, I might not send you the latest and greatest. I'm not going to send you an Aladdin 3477 official collector's edition that costs $20, but I might have something from the past, or I might have artwork that I did for a convention cover that I have like a bunch of extra copies of. I might sign one and throw that in there. Different things you can pawn off on eBay or just keep for your own collection. I might throw in some stickers, just some random things. But if you don't give me a big envelope, then I'm reduced to just cards or things that'll fit in here. And if it's only one stamp, I can't put that much. But the more postage you do, the larger stuff is, the more cool stuff you are going to get. All right. So let me sign this. Hopefully. Whoops. There's that. And then here's me and Chewbacca. This is so funny. This is, I don't know if it's still there, but last time I went to my Wikipedia, this is the image. And I don't know who took this. This is not one of my photos. This is a photo that Paul Michael Caine took a long time ago.
Paul Michael Caine.
So that's probably from my lifted from my website. This is from Wikipedia. And I don't even remember. I do remember this is in London, because I just remember that's the weirdest Chewbacca mask where the hair down here is almost like he used a straight iron to make his hair so perfectly straight down here. And I'll never forget that. Like, it's a really good Chewbacca costume, except for the straight hair that's so perfectly straight. But I don't know who took this. I don't know who took this.
I mean, maybe Wookiees have salons too. We don't know.
Yeah. So I'm going to sign over that to just kind of. Nice. Well, I didn't even see what's the name. I can't remember. Anyway, I don't know if I could read it.
Oh, jeez. Well, they only gave an initial. That's why.
Oh, M. Thanks, yo. Yeah, I'll send you some stuff.
I hope the post office can read that.
I know, right? Do they want it to get back? Yeah, I'm sure they can. Yeah, they can do that. All right, next up, a few more tidbits for those of you hanging out. Thank you so much. When I was a boy, so this is a new segment that we just kind of started a little while back. And this is where I share something that I did when I was a boy. And the reason I share this, it's kind of fun for me. It's nostalgia, but also for some of you watching, if you're an aspiring artist, maybe if you're a little bit younger, you're going to school. Sometimes when you see your favorite artists, and I'm not suggesting that I'm one of them necessarily, but when you have an artist that you look up to or you're trying to learn like some of their techniques, sometimes it feels like they've got this thing that they're just better and they've always been able to do it. But what they don't realize is we've been there. There was a time when the way I drew people were stick figures. And when Star Wars came out, TIE Fighter, I would always draw TIE Fighters because they were real easy. It was the capital letter H with a circle, and then with a green crayon, I could do pew, 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 make the dashes, you know? So for today, I reached into my when I was a boy stack.
As simple as the TIE Fighter is, there's just never enough TIE Fighter merch. Ever.
Yeah, there's not a lot, is there? This, and I haven't really flipped through this much yet, this was the first magazine that I kind of made, and I believe my dad had access to like a Xerox machine, a copier at work. This was when I was in 5th grade, and so I made this fantastic comics magazine just of a bunch of different stuff that I like. What cracks me up about this is I've always had it in my mind. I've always tried to make things look as professional as I could. And I always wanted to make things look bigger than it really was. So, for example, the official collector's edition, the way that's designed, hopefully it looks like something that a big publisher put out. And it was articles written by a bunch of different people. And there were a bunch of designers designing all the pages, when every bit of that was just put together by me. And I just really took my time to really make it look slick and try to make it look professional. So you want to see how far back this dates? Because I know this doesn't look that professional, but this is the mindset I was in. Now, I drew every single page of this from cover to cover, right? All me, all written by me. I mean, there's some, I mean, I didn't create Pac-Man, and I think Indiana Jones is in here too.
Look at this with the whip and everything.
Yeah. But look at artists. What does it say? Matt James.
Mike Jones.
Oh, Mike Jones. Steve. I can't even read that.
Owup Place.
That's a made-up name. Matt Bush. Kelly Mausk. I love that, and I love that.
Wait,
I included.
Are these not real people?
They're all made up, except for me. They're all made up.
Oh,
because I wanted it to feel like this is a magazine, because like Mad Magazine always had different artists and everything, and I just wanted it to feel like when I'd show my friends, I wanted it to be like this is a magazine with like a bunch of people working on it, even though it was just me and nerdy kid at home drawing all by himself. Yeah, it looks like there's like Family Circus, just all the stuff that I kind of liked. And obviously it's not drawn very well. I don't know why that guy's got a Hitler mustache. I definitely did not have an obsession with Hitler. It looks like Ziggy. I don't think I was ever into Ziggy that much, but I think I had some friends that were into Ziggy. This is not my phone. This is a made-up phone number. I wonder if he would have called it. Looks like I did a Family Circus by Bill Keane, Captain Stargo. So my dad would Xerox these, and then I would sell these to kids. Teachers would buy them. Look at this, puzzle pages.
I got
crossword puzzles. This was the thing. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen this in forever. This is an optical illusion where if you go like this, it looks like the car is driving. Does it? Oh, does it work?
For me, it does. Yeah.
What else is on here? This is interesting. Kirby was my younger brother Ian. His teddy bear stuffed animal was like this koala, and its name was Kirby. So these were just Kirby. Your adventures, getting eaten by sharks. It's interesting, and I just looked through a couple pages. I didn't look through a lot of this, but a lot of this is my first foray into, I was always like drawing comic books and stuff, but what was interesting is I was already thinking about action and close-ups and peering around the corner. And obviously this isn't drawn well. Part of it is because I couldn't draw that well, but part of it was because I was so excited about the action that
I can tell what you're doing.
Here he is jumping, and then look at, we go around to this angle and we can see this thing. I don't know why this guy would be standing with a leg on either side of the teeter-totter with a rock here waiting for someone to jump and for it to go up between his groin. That's how a fifth grader thinks, right? But I love that then I changed the camera angle to the front where you see it go up. Like I feel like that's cool. Look at these tiptoes. Somehow Indiana Jones is in this story. Don't know why. Close-ups. But I was already thinking about all the things. Like this, and then you see the hand, crack.
To be continued.
Really? Yeah, English not my greatest.
Really?
Anyway, so that was really cool. It was really neat that that I would put these together. This was my first foray. I continued this through grade school and even junior high, and then I started doing it again in college. So I have a lot of these to share with you guys, where you see the art getting a little bit better and a little bit better. Yeah, Mike James. Yeah, me and James had a part. Yeah, it's wild. It's fun for me to see, and I hope it's fun for you guys to see some of my early artwork. Bananas. All right. Next up, Macomb College. So guess what? Classes are starting in, 5 weeks or something like that. August, middle of August somewhere. So now is the time. Some classes that are still that have seats remaining. There's a couple sections of pre-viz, which is essentially storyboarding for film and animation and video games. Also gets into a little bit of any kind of visual storytelling, which is comic books, children's books, all the things. Pre-visualization, which is MACA 1160. There's some openings there as well. I believe painted illustration, there is some availability there as well. If you want to learn 4 different painting techniques with me, this is the place to do it. Excuse me. Pre-viz can be taken completely remote from anywhere. Painted illustration is technically hybrid, so half of the days are on ground, half of the days are remote. There's a whole schedule to how it works. In the beginning, there's a few more days that are on ground where you can really see what I'm doing and I can really see what you're doing. And it's just kind of a mixed bag, but you kind of get the schedule in the beginning. But if there's any days you can't make, there's always videos and information, so you're never behind. If there for any reason you can't make it, you can go through the modules in Canvas to make sure you are caught up. So check those out for sure. There's me. This is not what the building looks like, but it's a brand new building and it looks cool. I just have to get a new photo in there.
Yeah, there's no moat. It's very
There's no moat, and I hope at some point there's going to be an awning like that. That would be cool. There's an upper level upstairs, and it might be open by the time that classes start, where students can go and hang out, and there might even be vending machines.
Because before, when it first opened, there were just 2 stairways.
Yeah,
it went right up
to a wall.
Right into a wall. And I thought, like, is that an interesting art installation that I just don't understand? But
the Winchester Mansion, which is haunted in San Jose, California. I've been there. There's 160 rooms, and there's all kinds of weird things where doors that open to walls, staircases that lead to nowhere. There's even a window on one of the rooms. There's a giant window on the floor. Just crazy stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of staircases that lead up to walls and everything else. The story behind it is interesting. It's the woman who was married to the gentleman who invented the Winchester rifle. And after he passed away, allegedly she was haunted by every person that was ever killed by a Winchester rifle. She felt so bad about it, and she acquired all of this money from Winchester rifles. So to drown out the sound of ghosts that were haunting her, she had construction crews working on the house 24/7, building all of these rooms. And if at any moment she couldn't hear work being done, they were fired. There had to be saws, drills, things going 24/7 until she finally passed. Super interesting. Okay. There are still just a couple more of the executive producer screenings that we are getting together. Guess what? The Livestream Lounge is an official podcast on YouTube. You can go back and listen to past episodes or watch past episodes. Totally cool. Mike says, do they teach math for short people? I'm all about making short things count. They probably, well, I think math is open. It's open to everyone. There's no judgment or no, what do we say? There's no judgment. There's no discrimination. Yeah, there's no discrimination. All right, next time. So I'm trying to get this back. I would love to get this back going every week. I have some special guests that I can't wait to get on the show. One of them is Dan Phillips, who's an Emmy Award-winning visual effects artist, special effects makeup artist. Can't wait to get him on today. I knew we had so much to talk about with Aladdin. I'm going to be gone next week. Probably won't be able to do the week after that. Hopefully the week after that, we'll be back to a regular routine. And pretty soon, especially for Aladdin, there's going to be a lot to show, a lot to talk about. And man, things are becoming real. And if all goes the way I think it's going to go, I'll have all of the deliverables turned in tomorrow. Super exciting. You have no idea how daunting all of that has been in the past 4 months with everything, with everything else going on. So it feels good to be done. And then I get to go on vacation celebrating Star Wars with all the things. Oh my gosh, it feels really good to be done with all of that. Sunday nights at 9, usually, obviously the next 2 weeks, probably not after that, hoping to get on a regular schedule. Anything else you wanted to chat about, James?
Oh, geez. It's just going to go back to Gray Jedi, Knights of the Old Republic, why Gray is the way. And then it's going to lead me into Darth Revan and Jedi Knight Revan, and why Keanu Reeves is the only one equipped to do that role. And the character is so dynamic that you need a trilogy just for Keanu Reeves' character of Revan, who he said he totally would be down to play. And when you look at the concept sketch of Revan as a character, it is Keanu Reeves in the face. But no one's ready to hear about that, and no one's ready for that entire live stream of me ranting about Knights of the Old Republic and why Keanu Reeves is the only logical option. But I don't want to talk about work.
I have one more thing on the Acolyte, something that I noticed, and I hope I'm not spoiling anything in the future, but we were talking earlier about how what they show you, what they don't show you, everything is a choice in a mystery. And so I feel like there's some things that maybe seem strange, but as this all unravels, maybe not so strange. Here's another thing that I started to wonder. Osha and May are played by the same actress. Obviously, they look very similar. They needed to do it in a way where they could be that you could confuse them once they have the same haircut, which now they do have the same haircut. I mean, their haircuts were pretty similar before, but the way the story needed to be, there needed to be a quick way that they could look almost unmistakable the same. Played by the same actress, identical twins. In the flashback episode, when we see them as kids, they are not identical twins. They are not played by the same actress, nor are they played by identical twins. They're played by fraternal twins. Why? Maybe it's just because, but with today's technology, first of all, they could have hired identical twins, or they could have hired a single actress like they did for the adult version. They obviously have the technology to make it look like the same person, or sorry, both twins are in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
Why would they not have two clearly not identical twins playing those parts?
Cheaper. No, they don't care about the expense.
I don't know. And I'm trying to figure out what it would be, but there's a part of me that says, is that an accident? And I can't, for the life of me, I can't think of what that would be, but it really does seem like you can clearly tell them apart when they're kids, but now they're unmistakable. It's the same actress on purpose so that they can be confused.
Oh, see, if we had time, which we don't, I would totally want to do a thing where I play quintuplets in a film that you wrote. Or not even necessarily that. What I love about The Bad Batch is that it's the same dude that he just had to come up with 5 different voices that were still similar enough to where you can kind of tell, but different enough. And I'm like, you got to give it up for him. I mean, he was able to consistently just pull it when he needed to all 5 of them. I think that was great.
Yeah. I've had some ideas for things like that where there's just a couple people in the film, but they play multiple roles and crazy differences between them. There's a neat movie, I haven't seen the film, but where Robert Downey Jr., have you seen that? I think it's a Korean movie maybe, but Robert Downey Jr. plays like 6 different people. It's mostly Korean people, and but he's the only American, but he plays 6 different people. Drastically different people.
Love it.
Which is super interesting. Mike says it's no accident. It's all by force. That's good. That's a good dad joke, Mike. Waka waka waka. Awesome. All right, that is the live stream lounge. Whoops, there's one more. I pushed the wrong thing. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Super appreciate it. I will catch up with you guys in a couple weeks. There will be a new video on YouTube on Tuesday. Every Tuesday, I drop a new video. And on YouTube, there's shorts, Instagram Reels, TikToks every day. So follow me on those socials as well. I'll be sharing all kinds of stuff from Germany and Switzerland. Can't wait. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your support and for hanging out with us tonight. Can't wait to see where all of this goes. You guys will see it here first. Thank you. Woohoo! Oh, I forgot to before it dies out. Woohoo! See you guys. Thank you. Oh, and I didn't push it. Thank you. Did it end? No. Wait. No, it didn't. How do I get it to? Oh, I forgot to click